Hey everyone. Good to be here. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. It's been a while, hasn't it? Since we heard this tune. Yeah. Let's hear a little of it. It's good for Mother's Day. Yeah, it's my son. He's hurting me and he's a felon. Happy Mother's Day. These people are poets. NWA. Well, Ice Cube anyway. Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. Good to be with you. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I am a 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Humble. Great big Star Wars fans. Good to be here. Trusted member of the media also, and that's important today. That's important when we're examining events in the world. Yeah, Andrea woke me up. She's like, "Are you seeing?" Andrea follows Alyssa Milano's Twitter, like in shock and disbelief. She's just like, "Are you seeing what this woman's doing? Are you seeing what this woman's doing?" I'm like, "No. What's up?" She's like, we gotta look at this. This is crazy. And I thought, well, that's probably what I'll lead my Mother's Day show off with. Seems like a good idea. Alyssa Milano urges a sex strike in protest. Look at that face. You got to be careful. I mean, when you're these people, they'll take unflattering photos of you. Now, there are very few unflattering photos of me. Very few. But there are some. And those unflattering photos will get utilized over and over and over again. Look at this. Look at the hatred. Hold on. Let me see if I can get closer on this facha. On this facha bruta. Look at this. Unhappy. This is an unhappy woman. What made her so unhappy? I think she needs a boss in her life. Tony Danza, where did you go? Where did you go? Who is the boss now, Alyssa Milano? Who? She's very upset, very political. She's one of the celebrities who lost her mind after the election. I don't know if, I mean, really, I didn't know what she was doing, except, kind of, softcore pornography vampire movies for Skinamax. I didn't know that she had, fully lost her mind politically before Trump was elected. Bro Seiden, hey, thanks for $2. Happy Mother's Day, Aunt Andrea. She says, thank you. But yeah, she's completely gone off the deep end, and it is pretty funny. I find it amusing. Now, I don't follow politics too much anymore. I'm too busy following Star Wars. I'm too busy following Cyberfrog. I'm too busy, looking after Comicsgate. I don't know what's going on in the world anymore. And that's made me immensely happy. It's made me immensely happy not to really get involved in these political bickerings, because it doesn't make a difference. You realize, and this woman has not realized yet, that, things just kind of, they level out. It's drama on one side, drama on the other side. And at the end of the day, everything just kind of remains like right in the middle all the time. It doesn't seem like it, I'm sure, to, when you're deeply involved, it seems like you're always losing. But at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal. Now, Alyssa Milano urges a sex strike in protest against Georgia abortion law. All right, that's fine. Actress and #MeToo activist Alyssa Milano has urged women to take part in a sex strike to protest against a new abortion law in the state of Georgia. These poor husbands. These poor. I was like, is Alyssa Milano married? This guy's like, her husband's like, what what do I have to do with Georgia? Like, what, you Georgian, what the hell? What the hell? Until women have legal control over our own bodies, we cannot risk pregnancy, she tweeted. Wow. All right, everyone. All right. Ms. Milano's tweet divided opinion on social media, sparking a debate that led to hashtag sex strike hashtag, led to the hashtag sex strike hashtag trending on Twitter in the US. The so-called heartbeat bill, which was signed by Governor Brian Kemp on Tuesday, is scheduled to come into effect on 1st of January. I'm not going to express any political views here except for one. This is lunacy. Our reproductive rights are being erased. Until women have legal control over our own bodies, we cannot risk pregnancy. Join me by not having sex until we get bodily autonomy back. Now, I ask you, what is the difference between this and the Rainbow Brute Celibacy Challenge? You know, those guys, they get a lot of grief because people who are, in case you don't understand, there's a whole group of fans who have decided to engage in something called hashtag RBCC, which is the Rainbow Brute Celibacy Challenge. And these fellows have decided they are not going to, quote unquote, well, they're not going to relieve themselves that way until Rainbow Brute actually hits Indiegogo. Now, what is the difference? What is the difference between what Alyssa Milano is doing and what they're doing? I mean, sure. I think both are equally weighty at this point. Rainbow Brute is important. People are looking forward to it. And there are some people who are saying, we're not going to engage in sexual intercourse or anything like that until Rainbow Brute comes out. And this woman here is saying the same thing, except about the laws in Georgia. Join me by not having sex until we get bodily autonomy back. For many SJWs, that is not going to be a problem. They joined you. You're joining them, Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano, you are joining them in celibacy. Oh, enjoy that. All right. What is the bill and why is it controversial? All right. So law bans abortions as soon as the foetal. Why do the British spell everything weird? There's no O in fetal. I know that you guys think that there is. You stop putting extra vowels in things. British, stop putting extra vowels in things. There's no reason. Fetal is F-E-T-A-L. There is no extra O in there. It's not necessary. That now it says foetal. Now it says foetal. It doesn't say fetal. For goodness sakes, what is going on? Oh, I got some super chats. Moderator Marcy says that's the same face Brie Larson makes every time she sees a Captain Marvel review. Matt Horgan says, feminists constantly tell us the idea of women treating sex as a transaction is hateful and false. Yeah, this is kind of a transactional situation here. This is wielding sex in order to, I don't know, control the law. I don't know exactly how I feel about this, except that Bette Midler has also joined. Bette Midler has also joined the celibacy, the Georgia Celibacy Challenge. I hope the women of Georgia, hashtag women of Georgia, stop having sex with men until these indignities are overturned. And she got more specific. She said with men, you know, which I think was implicit in any case. But yeah, just women of Georgia, stop having sex with men. Media backlash online, both from those who support the new law and those who criticize the idea that women only have sex to please men. That's an interesting point. I appreciate the intent, but a hashtag sex strike is a bad and sexist idea, wrote one person on Twitter. It's one person on Twitter sometimes. Sometimes it only takes one person on Twitter to make a difference. She says, as if we provided sex as a reward to the worthy. It's denying women's pleasure. So true. Self-denial and abstinence for some sort of gain is the antithesis of a sexually empowered world, wrote another. In her defense, Ms. Milano later tweeted a Quartz article about how sex strikes can work, prompting further criticism online. Alyssa Milano has to be the dumbest SJW. I mean, she is. I don't understand what got this woman started, but she is so dumb. Fully invested in the Trump Russia scandal. and that whole hoax. Fully invested in the idea that someday Trump would be look at her face. Trump would be frog marched out of the White House, arrested, thrown in jail. This is mental illness of the most severe kind. And I don't know what to say. Cave Creature says all SJWs are dumb. Well, in a way, yeah. Some of them are smart, but just ill, But they're all. I think that the through line is all SJWs are mentally ill. And let's make a quick distinction here. Not all liberals are SJWs. Some of you in here are liberals. Some of you in here, might agree with Alyssa Milano in spirit, but hopefully not in her methods and tactics. Lowkey 07 says $5 says fighting for abortion rights right before Mother's Day. What a classy broad. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Nasser Rabadi said women had a sex strike against me my whole life. Yeah, you know what, Nasser? Someday some woman is going to come along and she's going to cross that picket line, and you are going to. She's going to be a scab. Of course, she'll be a scab, but she'll be kind of heroic in her way. Jeremy Smith, thanks for $2. I guess people never heard of the pull out method. Yeah, but that's not what it's about. Let's remember that it's not really about like what she's trying to say is we cannot risk pregnancy, but that's not what it's about, is it? It's about punishing men. MGTOW, Michigan. We've got a MGTOW in here. I can't wait to read this comment. $5 says YouTube is not allowing me to super chat criticism of Alyssa Milano. Whoa, how is that? That's weird. You're doing it right now. And I'm kind of bummed out because I'd be interested in what a MGTOW would have to say. MGTOW stands for men going their own way. Basically, they've had enough of this and they've decided, look, I'm celibate. I'm not. I think that's right. I've had MGTOWs explain to me how they feel for a little while, and I think I've gathered it, but who knows? I'm just one man. Artemis Worm, thanks for $2. Look up Necromancer Tombstone Blues on Indiegogo. Yeah. Look up Necromancer Tombstone Blues. That would be a good idea. So anyway, yeah, this is just the perfect story for Mother's Day. I don't know if it was planned or what. I don't know if Alyssa Milano is a mother. I have no idea anything about her. Is she married? Does she have kids? It's just I just feel bad for anyone in her vicinity. Alec Munoz, thanks for $5. I love how the Midwest is now in full revolt against California and New York. They are losing it because they see how irrelevant Trump has made them. Well, we'll see. I mean, next year is going to be interesting. The election will be interesting, and I swear, I'm going to build a bomb shelter. Clearing my throat, excuse me. Matt Horkin, thanks for $2. I had a lot of trouble sending my super chat too. Is YouTube protecting Alyssa Milano? That's interesting. I would think that Alyssa Milano would say that she doesn't need any protection, and she's she's not having sex. People who are not having sex don't really need protection. All right, everyone. Good to see you. Stay away from Alyssa Milano and people like her. The second thing I want to talk about today is the absolute incredible success of Comicsgate Indiegogos right now. I don't know what is going on, but things are blowing up. And I think if you look at the umbrella guys, the Case of the Littlest Umbrella, and you look at Lone Star 2, and of course, if you look at Cyberfrog Blood Honey, you will see everything is going pretty smoothly, and people are getting ready to launch their next campaign. So I'm pretty excited about that. Cyberfrog Blood Honey right now is at $194,121. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for continuing to support this project. Oh, goodness sakes, this was a long slog for this one, and I'm really grateful for it. Let's get the next one out quicker. All right, so here's a question. And this is in the same vein as Alyssa Milano and all of that. Oh, wait, Mike's Content. Thanks for $5. I watched Alyssa Milano's 90s era Outer Limit episode last night. She wasn't on any sex strike in that episode. Ooh, interesting. 90s era Outer Limits episode. Yeah. I never liked her. I never thought she was that great. People told me that she was hot, and I just had to politely disagree. I think she's okay. Moderator Marcy says YouTube is censoring certain words and phrases like the word cuck. Okay. And then the see you next Tuesday word, and sometimes the B word. You can't say biatch. That's weird. Wow, I don't like that. So YouTube censoring them in super chats, so you can't put them in super chats. Yeah, I think that's okay though. You've clearly found ways around it, but YouTube now has a thing where they can totally demonetize your channel or your video just because of the super chats that you're receiving. So it's kind of like a self-protective thing. We are obligated to read super chats, whatever they say. So if you put something racist in there, that's the only time I'm going to skip them. The last thing, the last thing that you need is a soundbite of that going around. The Red Gaze, thanks for $4.99. I just dropped an Alyssa Milano video. It's magical. Please watch and consider subscribing. Thank you. Had a lot of trouble sending this too. What the hell is going on? Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness lately. You know what it is? It really does seem like social media is right on the verge of, uh, permanently getting rid of, uh, anyone with kind of right of center or even centrist at this point views. Watching Bounding into Comics go down on their Facebook page was pretty extreme. I worried about that. I thought that was wacky. I'm going to invite some more comic skaters in here. But it just seems like that. It seems like you got to kind of watch out because they're just waiting for the chance to do it. There's still some sort of like electrical impulse happening within the brains of these SJWs that control these platforms that say you're not supposed to do this. You can't. You shouldn't do this. Like this is a line that you shouldn't cross. But at any minute now, they're waiting. Like that line is going to get crossed because they want to cross it. It is going to happen. David Hughes, thanks for £14.99, says, I'm British, so American politics is only a source of entertainment for me. It impacts my life in no way whatsoever. With that in mind, my conspiracy mind suspects every celebrity looking for kudos. Is that what it is? Are they just looking for kudos? Because I think they get just as much grief as they do kudos. I kind of feel like if you're going to go the way that Alyssa Milano is going, you've decided to go in for a fight. I mean, I've done the same thing. When it comes to it's not really political, but Comicsgate is the same exact thing. Like once you declare that you are a part of Comicsgate, you are in for a fight. You're going to be opposed by a great portion of the mainstream comic book industry, and you've got to be ready for it. But I mean, you don't do it for kudos. It's the last thing that you do it for. You also don't do it for money. It's like there's no expectation that money is going to come your way. You hope that it will, but it's going to be grief. People are going to give you grief for these beliefs. So it's something else. I mean, there's something inside of Alyssa Milano that's roiling that would tell her to tell women to not have sex. What is life for? James Dean Anderson, thanks for $5. Nothing says empowering women like telling them to act as sexually undesirable as Bette Midler to keep killing kids just in time for Mother's Day. Well, I think you can probably suss out how I feel about, that whole situation. It's not easy. And there's protection, for goodness sakes. But yeah, the idea of telling women to just hold their bodies over men in order to get their way is not really feminist. I don't think it's feminist. Hey, hello, Antonio. How are you?
What it do, player? How you doing?
Happy Mother's Day, Antonio. Happy Mother's Day. Is your mother still with us?
No. I lost my mother in October of 2016. That's actually what made me pick up my notepad and start writing Brand again.
Oh, wow. How about that? Well, that's fairly recently. I'm sorry, man. That's terrible.
Hey, 70. She was almost 79. She would have been 80 last year. So
well, I've still got my mother with us, Antonio. I talked about her a little bit yesterday. She is a woman of the earth. Like she believes my mom is the opposite of me. I think my dad is kind of nowadays his politics, now that he's kind of mellowed out a little bit and he's medicated. I think my dad's politics are closer to mine. My mom is a liberal, great big Obama supporter. And I remember talking to her and going, "You're going to vote for Obama, Mom?" And she was like, "Yes, okay, yes, I want to make the world a better place." And I'm like, "Okay, Mom, okay, don't cry." She felt so passionately about Obama. I was just like, "All right, Mom."
My thing about Obama is I feel like Obama is the victim of Magic Negro syndrome.
Yeah.
So I felt like
What is
they just
Magic
thought he was
Negro syndrome?
Magic. It's like, you remember that Will Smith movie where he was the golf caddy and the Bagger Vance or whatever. Where that's the Magic Negro that comes in and solves all white people's problems.
Oh, I got it.
And I think that's what Obamacare is supposed to cure: racism. He's supposed to make sure everybody's got health care. He's got all that. And at the end of the day, he was just a guy, just like everybody else. He was just a politician. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't any better or any worse. And he definitely, a lot of people was like, oh, he's just playing the game. And then on the second term, he's going to fix it. And I was like, I started noticing, I was like, he's just doing the same shit the rest of them be doing. I was like, he's not, and I'm already conservative anyway. So I was just like, yeah, so I couldn't really get behind him and stuff.
Yeah, so, I think the myth of Obama was largely created by white people. I don't know what that is, and I think that's related to what you're saying. It's this idea that it's creepy. I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah. But my mom was impassioned about it, and she believed, and she is she's a leftist and has 8 cats. I think she has 8 cats. Just a lot of cats, and they make her happy. She loves reading fantasy books and all that stuff, and she loves me. She loves me despite it all.
That's important.
Yeah. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. I'm going to give you a call later. Hey, Tug, how are you?
Hey there. I'm doing pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I'll bet you're doing good. Hold on 1 second. One super chat. David Hughes, thanks for another $14.99. Still British. Please remember, this is our language. The O belongs. It's not our fault you don't get it. Yeah. It's not our fault that you don't get it. I don't see how it belongs. I'm sorry. And then you also add extra vowels. What's a case like favorite? Like, why is there an extra U in favorite, Tug? Why do they do that?
Man, they want you to respect my vowels. That's what they do.
Vince Garrett says, hey, Uncle E, how does the new house compare to 130 Tree? You've come a long way, sir. You keep inspiring me. Thank you. There's no comparison, guys. That house was horrible. Oh, my God. What he's referring to is my little brother Noah is Eisner nominated for a project. Noah had a Patreon account, and he was making like $800 a month on it. I was very happy about. And what he would do is he would use his Patreon to do a comic, like an extra comic. So you would get a page a day or so. It wasn't really a page a day. It was maybe 3 pages a week, but it felt pretty close to daily. Of One Dirty Tree, if you were subscribed to his Patreon. And One Dirty Tree was the story of my childhood and his childhood. We're brothers. We're living in this disgusting house in Merchantville, New Jersey. And, with my father, who was clearly mentally ill, and my mom, who was kind of shut off, but still a good mom. And just the extreme poverty of that circumstance and what it was like for Noah, who was 10 years younger than me. I'm in there creating Cyberfrog. He actually depicted that, which is pretty neat. In any case, that book is out there. You can read all about the awfulness of it. And we had bugs, we had cockroaches. We very rarely had food to eat. It was really something else. So, going from One Dirty Tree to where I'm at now, quite a big difference. And what does it exactly say about America? I think about that all the time. I just think about how I think anybody can succeed, Tug.
I think anybody can. I mean, that's the beauty of it. We have stories like that in our families too. From abject, pretty much poverty to to actually making something. I mean, that's you definitely, you have to push, you have to try. I mean, look at your story on that. It's there are a lot of them out there, but there are a lot of people out there too that just lay down and expect something to be given to them. So
yeah, I think there's some people. I think my dad didn't want to try. I think that was the thing about my dad. He just didn't want to try, and he was depressed. And again, now you can go back and read this stuff and just get a quick picture of what it was like growing up in the Van Sciver household. And I think that's a thing. I wish people were more positive. I wish people were more, and I'm not saying this would work for everyone. I'm not saying just a quick attitude change would work for everyone, but boy, it kind of does do wonders when you keep believing and keep pushing forward and keep trying and keep coming up with new ideas.
That is true.
Stay positive. Don't stay in your rut, Antonio. And you are a perfect example of someone who just is always positive, always out there working, always trying, and you're succeeding. So Tug is too. Look at Tug.
Yeah, I see.
It's weird. Now I'm still waiting for my white light to shine down and tell me all of the secrets that I was missing. According to other comic professionals out there. Once I wrote a comic, bam, it should hit me. Once, I guess, maybe when it's produced, maybe that white light will shine down on me.
Yes. MGTOW, Michigan. By the way, MGTOWs are pretty interesting. I gotta talk to some MGTOWs and see what's up. He says Alyssa is just jealous of women who haven't hit the wall. So Tug, I don't know if you saw this, but Alyssa Milano. First of all, I didn't realize this, but apparently the state of Georgia has implemented new abortion common sense abortion laws. Tug. Okay, that's what these are. They're just common sense, and you can still get your abortion, but I guess you can't get it. The heartbeat bill. Let's see. What does this exactly say here? So 6 weeks. You have to get your abortion within a month and a half. Okay. That's the bill in Georgia. If you're going to do it. So it's common sense. It's common sense abortion laws. Alyssa Milano is basically telling women on Mother's Day to stop having sex with their husbands or anyone. Don't have sex with men until Georgia changes this law so that they can kill babies later, right up until childbirth, I guess.
That's really creepy.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird on Mother's Day to be asking this, I
like the backlash that she received about it. A lot of women were like, hey, yeah, we kind of enjoy sex. So why are you punishing us in this?
Like, it's so revealing, isn't it? It's like sex is transactional. Sex is something that she gives to people. She doesn't get anything out of it necessarily. I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like, this is something that I give to people as, I can use it as power, as some kind of, bartering thing. It's not, most women, I think, have sex also because they love their partner, and B, they do it because it's fun, and it feels good, and it's a good way to stay connected with someone that you love.
Oh yeah.
Antonio loves a lot of people. He wants to stay connected to tons of people.
Yeah, very much so.
That's what sex is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to kind of get a release from it, and you're supposed to stay connected to your partner. If you go a long time without having sex with your wife or your husband or whatever, doesn't it? It makes you feel weird. It makes you feel kind of awkward. So this is not a healthy. This is not a healthy suggestion. It's just not a healthy suggestion. And Alyssa, I love her face in this picture. Oh my God. This is the greatest photo ever, Tug.
Her responses to it as well. She was, when people were telling her, hey, you're denying us something, she's like, but it works in history. This has worked so well. So I don't know.
It's worked in history. Oh my gosh.
You remember when she was considered like, back in the day, forward, people looked at her and they said, man, she's attractive. You know what social media does to people? You think, man, I wouldn't want to be around her because she's batshit crazy.
Yeah, you know what? Zach always says this. Zach says Twitter is bad because really people aren't mentally evolved. I think we're just not evolved to deal with the social reactions of potentially millions of people. Like that's the thing. Like that's, we can handle our community. You know what I mean? We can handle our family. We can handle our friends. We can handle our work, our workspace. But when you are open for criticism by the entire world, potentially, for your tweets, and you think about how this all started. Do you remember, was it 10 years ago when Twitter was still young? There was a woman who was getting on an airplane and she was going to Africa or something like that. And she's like, okay, I'm going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. And then she said, just kidding, I'm white. So she tweeted out, just kidding, I'm white. Now, in the early days of Twitter, everyone was an edgelord. So if you go back to 10 years ago or whatever it was, everyone was using Twitter to tweet out edgelord jokes. And obviously you look at James Gunn, really what it did was it revealed like what you thought was darkly funny, or maybe it revealed something even weirder about yourself. But everyone was tweeting out the worst things to try to get likes or retweets or something like that. That's just what Twitter was used for back then. So in any case, this woman tweets this out. She says, I'm going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. And then it does something weird. It goes viral. And this tweet goes all over the place. And basically Twitter everyone was saying, we can get her. Let's find out who she is. I hate this woman. She's a racist. Let's find out her family. Let's find her employer. Let's find out, all this stuff about her. And she's on a plane. And so she doesn't have Wi-Fi. She doesn't realize this is happening to her while she's flying to Africa. They're like, she's going to land in 2 hours. And then she's going to see that we've gotten her fired from her job. We've gotten her entire family to denounce her. We've gotten all this stuff. I mean, we've ruined her name, her life, and all this stuff. And isn't this funny? Isn't this funny that we can do this? And then, of course, there's a countdown. There's a hashtag with a countdown until she lands and finds out that Twitter has destroyed her life. That changed everything. That absolutely changed everything. I mean, once people saw that Twitter, social media could actually destroy a person, that's when the mental illness, I think, really just invaded people's consciousness. People who use Twitter, use social media, they really, really got ill with that kind of a power. I mean, can we get together? Can we grassroots destroy a person's life? And now we've got idiots who have similar mental illness, similar impotence in their life, and they're organizing to do this, to get that thrill. I mean, Mars Girl with her Kick Vic nonsense. What does one get out of that, Tug? I want you to speculate. What does one actually get out of kicking Vic?
I personally think it all looks at the same thing. I like calling it, you see all those clap emojis that go on around and stuff. I feel like that's some kind of socially transmitted disease. We got into the current year clap. You get that like, that retweet. People chase a new version of clout. I mean, they call it activism, but I mean, look at what slacktivism has become. You get up, you type 280 characters, some people 400 times a day, apparently. I can't even imagine that, but and at the end of it, I mean, they become a celebrity, at least on Twitter. And if you look at the Mars Girl, for example, if you look at what she did before, she absolutely failed at YouTube. She failed at trying to get people's attention through a Patreon. She even changed up all of her content, trying to go from doing movies to doing even Slim Fast or Nutrisystem, stuff like that. And that didn't work, but this stuff does. It does give you a certain audience. It does. I guess it's exhilarating because some of these people get success off of it.
So that's what it is. I mean, she's just hoping for some attention. She would like some attention. Why can't we just give each other enough attention? I wonder why society is why we're so closed off now. And this might be another consequence of the internet, where people are just not getting enough attention anymore.
I like, social media can be fun, like a back and forth. Like, what happened to, if I don't like someone, calling them an idiot or a moron or something, not labeling something, like Nazi, in a society where people will bash you in the fucking head with a bike log if they call you a Nazi, or, trying to destroy your career and on because they disagree. Like you said, once it was weaponized to that certain point, I mean, we can't agree to disagree. We can't argue and get it out of our systems. I'm sure you used to do that. I used to do that. I always loved that. You got in that back and forth, who could one up somebody in conversation. Now the one up in conversation is, hey, by the way, let me put you on pause while I fuck up your life.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. They figured out ways to do that. I mean, some of these SJWs have figured out ways to destroy people's lives over the bare minimum thing. And there are people who are at this point attacking one another physically. I want to tell you guys something, and I haven't talked about this yet, but I'm going to. It's kind of apropos of what you were saying, Tug. So I got a text a few nights ago from Jeremy Hambley, the quartering. Oh, real quick, Darth T, thanks for $5. Whatever, Alyssa. I think I'll go plug in my copy of Embrace the Vampire. I enjoyed that.
Oh, she was hot in that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I think she was naked in that. I don't know.
Very much so.
People said Alyssa Milano is naked, and I went. I don't care. I gotta say, I never found her interesting. You know,
oh, the movie's horrible. The movie's horrible, but yeah, she shows a lot.
I don't care. Like that's a weird thing. Like even before her politics, like she's such a like big sister type. Like I don't know what it is. She's not. I don't think she's hot. I think she looks super familiar, like she would be your sister or something. I couldn't care less. But you know, when it comes to celebrities being naked, I do care. Like I really do care. Like if you say, you know, oh, Jennifer Lawrence is naked, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go check that out. I want to see that. I don't know what it is, but you know, I'm definitely interested. Alyssa Milano, I couldn't care less. And I'm not just saying that just because she's launched an incel sex strike against humanity.
I think the show Who's the Boss messed up her brain. You know, after a while, she was like, "I'll show you who's the boss." You know.
James Dean Anderson, thanks for $10. Congratulations to Tug, Rob Willis, and all of the new campaign creators that are seeing success. Happy Mom's Day to Andrea and to all of the women who put up with us. My wife is awesome and my best friend. Andrea is incredible. Right on Mother's Day, 3 a.m, Ava was in bed with us. Okay, she sleeps between us, and Ava, she's sick. Ava started to kind of cough, and Andrea woke me up. She's like, "Oh no, Ethan, get a towel, get something." Ava, like projectile vomits all over the bed, all over. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anything like. I didn't know a kid could. She's like a fire hose. And Andrea is panicking. She's cleaning everything up. And I'm just like, happy Mother's Day, sweetheart. Happy Mother's Day. And she did like a champ. You know, it was no big deal. Like I would have been, I don't have it in me. I could never be a mother. Because I'd be like, you vomited all over my bed. Like, what the hell? Andrea was just like, it's okay, sweetie. It's all right. Calm down. You know, let me clean all this up. Ethan, are you okay? You want to get a shower? Yeah, it seems like I already got one. Like I'm drenched in vomit. That's a mother. I mean, mothers do that. Mothers just have are bottomless wells of love. You know, I can do nothing but be in awe of her and everything that she does, how hard she works around this house. Andrea is, I mean, she's an ideal mother, an absolutely ideal mother. And God bless her. I don't think men have the capacity for that. I think we'd be terrible mothers. I know Tug would be.
Yes, very much so. With Tara. Yeah. You know, well, that's, you know, also one thing that like my wife allows in this is my daughter sees me as, you know, the nicest person ever because you know, unfortunately mom deals with all the bad stuff like you're talking about there. You know, mom lays down the rules a lot of times. You may be the disciplinarian if, you know, things get to a certain level, but yeah, mom affords us that too. They afford us possibly more love from our children because they're seen as the bad guy sometimes.
They, yeah, women are incredible. Mothers are incredible. And shame on Alyssa Milano. Shame on her. I hope she is no one's mother. I really do. I think it's awful. Awful human being. MGTOWN Michigander's back. He says YouTube is becoming Ugon. They're having trouble super chatting certain words. Girthy Gamer SD, thanks for $1.99. Happy Mother's Day to Andrea. Yes, indeed. A great mother. A great mother. All right, so let me get back to this, Tug. So I heard James Dean Anderson, $2 hashtag housewarming gift, blurg. Yeah, for real. So Jeremy Hambley calls me. He's like, call me up. So we spoke on the phone. He said, hey, man, my case, you know, what do you think of this? He's like, because you're the one who started the GoFundMe. So I want to run this by you and you tell me what you think about this. And he said, now I can keep pushing forward and I can get money. I can win a judgment against Matthew Loader. And it's looking like that's going to happen. Let me screen share this, Tug. Antonia, you guys might be interested in this. Are you aware of what I'm about to tell you? I mean,
yeah, I saw his video the other day.
Okay, good. So here's Jeremy Hambley, the quartering. Look at this, 500,000, 517,000 subscribers. That's incredible. He figured things out. He figured out how to use YouTube. He's like, but a couple of things. He's like, look, Matthew Loader has no money. Now, if you're not following this story, Matthew Loader was he learned he's an SJW to start with. He's a rather big guy, and he knows, what is that Israeli fighting style?
Krav Maga.
Yeah. Okay. Krav Maga. Like, he's an expert in that. He said, look, I'm going to this con, and anybody who is against, feminism, I'm going to punch them in the face because they're Nazis. And so he heard that Jeremy Hambley, the quartering, was going to be there. So one night after the convention, after day 3 of the convention or whatever it was, this was Gen Con in Indiana. Jeremy's out there having a drink at a bar. Imagine this. Imagine you're about, 5 drinks in, and it's like 2 a.m, and somebody puts his arm around your neck. Hey, man, are you Jeremy Hambley? Now, just put yourself in that predicament where you're like, oh, yeah, man, I'm kind of YouTube famous and people want to meet me. This guy's got his arm around me. That's weird. But yeah, man, how you doing? Turn around to shake his hand. And this dude who is, even though he wears dresses, is an expert in Krav Maga. And he just starts he grounds you and pounds you and just starts beating the living hell out of you, screaming that he's going to kill you while you're drunk. Bad times. Jeremy got away. He was injured, but I guess he wasn't badly injured. And he decided that, he was going to do something about this. Like, this wasn't okay. This whole thing about punch Nazis, not okay. Because all it is people saying, I'm going to call you a name. I'm going to call you a Nazi. And then, since it's punch Nazis and you can do whatever you want to do to Nazis, I'm going to use that to beat the hell out of you when I see you. I'm going to use that to physically assault you. Now, I talked to him about it, and I said, we got to make a stand about this. Like, there have to be consequences for this. And we raised money for him in a GoFundMe campaign so that he could sue Matt Loader. Now, obviously, Matt Loader was so guilty, but he's an SJW. He's also broke as hell. He's broke as hell. Snarkticon DM says, happy Mother's Day to Rose Tico, mother to us all. What the Rose Tico's a mother? I don't know.
She's a mother. Never.
Yeah, she's something. So Jeremy sued him, and obviously the lawsuit was going very, very well. They were going to get a judgment against this guy that was going to completely ruin his life, but Jeremy wasn't going to get any money out of it, and Jeremy doesn't really need money. That's not about money. It's about something else. It's about making a point. And this guy had to. Jeremy's like, "What should I do?" I said, "You know what? Get a video apology from this guy. And you can script it. You can get him to say whatever you want. But I mean, that's what you need to do." So Jeremy did, and I'm going to show you that since I feel like I helped pay for it. I'm putting it on my channel too. Here's Jeremy introducing the apology from Matthew Loader. This is the man who physically assaulted him and beat him up pretty bad while screaming he was going to kill him. Here you go.
It's the way it's got to be.
Hi, this is Matt Loader. Some of you know me as Matt Fantastic. Just prior to Gen Con 2018, I let my anger get the best of me and physically confronted Jeremy Hambley outside a bar in Indianapolis over statements he made about me previously. I unequivocally take responsibility for my actions that evening, which were wrong, and apologize to Jeremy for my thoughtless conduct. I do not now, nor did I ever believe Jeremy to be a Nazi, nor do I believe violence is the answer to settling personal issues. Jeremy and I have resolved our legal disputes, and I have written Gen Con asking that he be unbanned. I will have no further comment.
Look at Jeremy's smile. He's happy with that. So, yeah, I just said I thought it would be best if you just get an apology. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of the consequences to this were that, Jeremy was banned from Gen Con. Like he got beat up at a convention, and he was assaulted by a lunatic, and he was banned from the convention. Like, don't come in here anymore because you're only going to get beat up. We don't want trouble. We don't want you getting your ass kicked at our show. So instead, could you just stay home?
It's like crackhead logic. That's shit that only makes sense to crackheads.
It's just an excuse to ban him. Now, I think there was some kind of monetary thing also as well. Some people are saying, there should be more money. Well, I think there is something like that, but Jeremy is not allowed to disclose it.
Yeah, he mentioned confidential. There was a confidential portion of that too. I thought it was funny personally. I mean, this guy has to go out. He has to admit wrongdoing. It's not with the court case. The guy could still come back and say, well, da 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 da, and make up excuses for it. This publicly humiliates the guy, and it does send a note to people that say that, you're going to pay for something. You're definitely going to pay for going and crossing this line. And that line, I mean, it keeps getting crossed further and further and further away, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think again, people have to be publicly shamed. Part of what I want to do, and this is part of what you're doing too, Umbrella Guy, is really just holding these people's hands to the fire. Mm-hmm. And we have to publicly point out what they're doing. These people work in anonymity, and they've invented rules that protect them and what they do. I mean, one thing about Twitter, we talk about social media. Now, all day long, I receive threats. All day long, I receive threats from people. I receive abuse all day long. And there's this kind of thing that you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to quote tweet. You don't quote tweet people, because then that's sicking your fans on them. That's calling for targeted harassment. Well, there's a very simple way to avoid that. Don't tweet abuse at me. Don't tweet threats at me. Don't tweet about wanting to cut off my hand. Don't tweet about wanting to beat me up. Don't tweet about wanting to kill me, hoping I'll die. Don't tweet these things at me, because if you do, or if you tweet at me in any way, I'm going to publicly share your tweet. Now, ordinarily, those tweets are only seen by the people who follow that person, who might agree with them, and me. But if I share them, then 37,000 people are going to see what an asshole you are, and I think that's the thing to do. Actually, bring a spotlight, to these people. Actually, make them stand in the light of day and account for themselves. If you don't want 37,000 people to be calling you an idiot and calling you names, then don't do it. Don't cause trouble on the internet. So Jeremy's got the same thing going here. Now the chat is going. David Watts says, can you show it again? I can show it again. Let's look at it again. And let's decide how we feel about it. I'm not quite sure. This is the second time I've watched it. And I got to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. So let me scroll back here. I don't like the way he looks. He looks like a corpse. Like he doesn't look healthy, man. He looks unwell. I don't know if you guys saw this too.
I love that Soy Boy shirt.
Oh yeah, you'll never walk up. That seems like a threat as well. All right, let me put this on again, and let's go through it, and let's decide how we feel about it.
Hi, this is Matt Loder. Some of you know me as Matt Fantastic.
Nobody knows you as Matt Fantastic.
I think a couple of boys at the Blue Oyster know him as Matt Fantastic.
Oof, perhaps. Look, but look at his. Does he look green? Is it the lighting? Because the bricks look okay. He looks like he died. He looks like a zombie. Like there's something unhealthy about him.
Yeah, he looks sickly for real. He does. Look under his eyes too, and everything. I mean, damn. I don't know where makeup or anything else starts, but my God, that guy looks like he hasn't slept since the womb.
Yeah, like his lips are like dark purpley black. Like it's just, there's something wrong. People are saying don't make fun of his shirt. I don't know what his shirt means. I don't know what it refers to. There are initials underneath. I'm sure it's a good, if it's a charity or something like that, that's a great thing. But it feels inappropriate right now when he's basically apologizing for stalking and then physically assaulting someone. Do you understand what I mean? I don't know what the actual shirt is about. I'm sure it's about some charitable endeavor. But what it actually suggests to somebody who was just trying to be alone and have a cigarette outside after some drinks in the middle of the night and was stalked and beaten, is a little bit more sinister. It's a little sinister. They're saying it's the Liverpool FC football shirt. Okay, Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, it doesn't it seem. Am I wrong, or does it seem a little bit? I mean, you could. It could be paranoia. But if I saw that, I'd be like, why that shirt? Why are you wearing that shirt for this? I don't know. What do you think, Tug? Am I wrong?
No, I actually, when I looked at it, I didn't know what it was. So I don't know. Maybe, but then again, you're assuming that he owns, a lot of attire or anything that might be the only shirt he still has left, and Jeremy was like, damn, I don't want to own that shirt. So maybe we will.
Yeah. Red Gaze points out that shirt is insensitive to disabled people. That is true. That's
true. Very horrible. Matt Fantastic there is also a Kickstarter. Well, let's just call him a non-deliverer. He has not delivered for that. That was one thing I found out about him right off the bat. He has been involved in several things that never saw the light of day. I mean, he's still, he's a very an interesting person as far as violence, scams, and so on. It's just every layer you looked at. This just got worse and worse and worse.
I agree. Martyr Media says you sound like a paranoid, uptight housewife. Who, me? I do not. I do not sound paranoid or uptight. Maybe a housewife sometimes. Look, all right. So in any case, yeah, I'm just saying, if we're picking this apart, that's not the shirt that I would have worn. I would have worn a peace symbol if I were an SJW. Peace. But then again,
worn a pie symbol.
Oh yes. All right. Let's see. Let's keep this guy going here and see what he's got to say.
Prior to Gen Con 2018, I let my anger get the best of me.
No, you didn't look at the smile. Whoa, dude. So what do you think that smile is? Is that he said, I let my anger get the best of me, and then
I did my best, but I failed my best.
I love it. Matthew Fowler says you guys are getting a little pearl clutchy. This stuff, we're just examining the video. We're just seeing. People are saying, is he nervous? Is that smile nervous? Possible. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like he was at the brink of utter financial ruin, before he was given this out. Like, here, all you have to do is read this script into a camera, and you can. That's it. It's just
somebody noted a good point, though. It wasn't anger. This stuff was premeditated. The guy talked about it on social media. He was going to go find him, and he was going to assault him. So saying, "Oh, the anger just got the best of me." No, you planned this. You planned to assault a guy. You thought you could get away with it.
Who wrote this script? I wouldn't have approved this. I would say I deliberately intended to go assault somebody for the crime of not liking Anita Sarkeesian. Which is what he did. I mean, essentially, he said, if there's anyone out there who wants to fight, Anita Sarkeesian's being at this convention, I will physically beat the hell out of you. And that's what that's what he did. Now, I don't know if Jeremy, I'm sure, is not a fan of Anita Sarkeesian. Normal people aren't. But this guy knew what he was doing. He intended to do this. And not only that, people at the time were sending me all kinds of behind the scenes stuff that I never made a video about, and I probably should have, looking back. They were sending me pictures of him at a strip club or a bar with the founders of the convention right before the assault happened. So they're hanging out together. He's hugging like a former porno star who was there, hanging out with the people who run Gen Con. And one of the creators of Magic the Gathering or something like that, right before the assault happened. So that's kind of peculiar. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's odd.
I think, I personally think that there are a lot of people that are weaponized like this in some way. You're talking about other people on social media and what they get. We've seen a lot of people that have been, weaponized to try to ruin careers and ruin lives. They get backpats from creators of, just like you were talking about with, you know, again, I didn't see the Magic the Gathering creator or any of that. I haven't seen that yet. So I mean but it makes sense. It definitely does.
I could probably find those photos. I mean, they go way back, but I could they're in my private messages.
Yeah, I mean, that's you know, that's the way you keep culpability to a minimum for yourself. It's the same thing we've been looking at with attacks on like yourself and other Comicsgate creators. You don't have attacks coming from big companies. You have certain people that are empowered by them getting back pats and on or more. Who knows what goes on behind the scenes? But yeah, all those back pats, they're rewarding terrible behavior. And you know, if these people are encouraged to do so and they get caught, you know, there's no liability there at the end of it.
Yeah. Well, somebody says, by the way, in the chat, they said, stop calling it an assault. It was a bar fight. People get punched in the face at bars every night in every city in America. Yeah, but you know what the difference is? The difference is like a bar fight is when you're kind of expecting it. You know what I mean? Jeremy was sitting there drunk. And the other thing is,
punch is different from a fight.
He basically, you know, here's the thing. When you're kind of when you are known, I wouldn't say famous, but when you are known, which is what Jeremy is, people want to meet you. And so, you know, people who put their arm around you and say, hey, are you Jeremy Hambly? You're expecting to have a meet and greet situation here. Shake someone's hand, perhaps sign an autograph, something like that. To have that person just viciously punch you in the face, that's not a bar fight. You're not expecting it. You didn't do anything wrong. That's an assault. I think a bar fight is hey, I've been eyeing up your girl or something like that for, you know, the entire evening, or I said something to you, I started trouble, and then I know it's coming. Like, that's a bar fight. You know, am I wrong or right?
No, yeah.
This was not a bar fight. This is so far from a bar fight. A guy decided that he would premeditate assault. He was probably, again, given a lot of back pats and on. I mean, it just kept building to that certain point. He caught Jeremy Hambly outside of something and he attacked him from behind. I mean, that's not everything in that is not. It's not me talking about, you know, my favorite show while drunk with some other guy and I'm getting pissed off, or me saying, you know, man, you know, me hitting on their wife or something like that, you know, with a terrible pickup line while I'm drunk. Hey, baby, you're from Tennessee because you're the only 10 I see, you know, or some dumb stuff like that.
I see you, player. Go ahead on.
That was a good line. People Circus points out, by the way, People Circus for £2. People Circus, great artist, by the way, says shame in SJW is not as great as a criminal record. SJWs have no shame. Well, I hear you, but I don't think that a criminal record was going to happen here. This was a civil case, not a criminal case. He wasn't arrested for assault. He was, you know, this was a different situation. So what this would have resulted in is not a criminal record. It would have resulted in him owing Jeremy a lot of money that he could never repay. And I mean, you know, that's the thing. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have this guy be in debt to you forever? Or would you rather get this apology video? I don't know. You know, Jeremy kind of decided he'd rather have the apology video. If this guy could, you know, get a criminal record for this, which I think he should have, that would be a different story. I mean, obviously that would be preferable. All right, so let's hear the rest of this here. Andrea just said, turn it down. We're getting used to the volume in this house. I guess they can hear, you know, from the basement all the way upstairs. All right, let's go.
And physically confronted Jeremy Hambly outside a bar in Indianapolis over statements he made about me previously.
Now, this is just unacceptable. I would not accept any of this. I physically confronted. That's not what happened, dude. You didn't. You physically, you put your arm around him. You led him to believe that you were friendly, and then you started attacking him. And then, for some reason, you're able to say over comments he made. He did. What comments? What are you talking about? That's not what you said. Like, this dude said that he was going to punch anyone who was opposed to Anita Sarkeesian.
Especially when you've got him out back like that. It looks like they marched him out to like a firing squad or something. You know, read this or else, you know.
He looks like this kind of does look like a hostage video. It is funny.
It does.
All right, hold on. So far this guy is able in the apology. Jeremy's going to be mad at me for this. He's going to be upset that I'm doing this, but in the apology, this guy has all kinds of wiggle room and crawl space. There are a lot of weasel words in this apology. And I don't know who wrote it. Was it agreed upon? Was it like a joint effort to write this apology? But there's no real shame in this. He's saying he physically confronted, which is not physically confronted is like somebody coming up to me and saying, "Hey man, I heard what you said about me and we're face to face and I know there's going to be a fight." It's not, "Hey Ethan, how you doing, buddy?" Boom, right in the face all of a sudden. That's different. That's different. So this guy's got a lot of no wonder he's smirking. All right, let's see more of this guy. I don't like this dude. I can tell you that right now. Antonio, I don't like this dude.
He's not very likable, E.
No.
Definitely not. And that was a chicken shit move.
Yeah.
To me.
But, all right, let me see. Let's see.
I unequivocally take responsibility for my actions that evening, which were wrong, and apologize to Jeremy for my thoughtless conduct.
Thoughtless.
I do not now, nor did I ever believe Jeremy to be a Nazi.
Okay.
Nor do I believe violence is the answer to settling personal issues.
All right.
Jeremy and I have resolved our legal disputes, and I have written Gen Con asking that he be unbanned. I'll have no further comment.
Let's just pause on that face there. The last half of it isn't bad. Well, I mean, do you guys disagree, or what do you think of that?
No, it's just, I don't know. I just thought that was, but hey, that's a win for Jeremy. But yeah, I wish he had gotten paid too.
I would have liked to see more, but again, I can't. I'm not in his shoes, And you also want this stuff to be behind you, I mean, it's like every day you have to wake up and be reminded of this dipshit, every single day. And I don't know, but I mean, like I would have wanted to break him. I would have wanted to own his mom's, 6, 10, 12 cap, whatever. I would have wanted to. I would have wanted to own everything. But yeah.
Here's what would have happened though. I mean, this was the one part of the discussion that Jeremy and I had. He's like, "Well, we could keep going with this, and basically, I'm going to run out of money from the GoFundMe, and we're not going to see justice for like another year." And so, I'm going to have to go back to the well and ask people for more money. And what do people want? Like, what do you think people are looking at from this? And he's like, I could end this like in another way. I mean, I have to agree. Like, is it a waste of money? Like we'd all be putting all of this money into getting this guy, wringing this guy out when he's got nothing. I mean, this guy, it was going to take him a year to come up with $2,000. This is a broke ass, Get woke, go broke. Yeah, I would have. Maybe Jeremy could have. Maybe I would have liked the court to hold him and let Jeremy punch him.
He should be out turning tricks on the streets to give me my money right now. That should be what it is.
You become a real pimp right there.
Yeah. That might have been good. I mean, force somebody to use their wits to actually pay back Jeremy for punching him in the face several times. So I would have liked to have seen that as well. But at the end of the day, I think this is the best outcome. I just don't like some of the words, and I don't like some of the mannerisms. And I can tell one thing though. I can tell that he was put in a tough spot. Like this, Matt Loader was, scared. And this is the thing. I would like this to never happen again. The same thing with your boy Zach's tortious interference case against Mark Wade. This is something that we have to make an example of. This have to make an example of it. It's so important that this never happen again. And right now, I think there's every reason for your boy Zach's case to sort of get some more support as I start to do a little business with Dynamite Comics. Doing a little business with Dynamite Comics, doing these Vampirella variant covers, and every single SJW does not want that to happen, but they're also afraid to tortiously interfere.
They need to be. They need to be. At the end of the day, disagreement is one thing. Going out and trying to deplatform every single thing that comes up, I mean, that's a different world altogether. Again, we've seen this gradual progression towards crazy until it's just like the bottom dropped out of it. You know, it was like a downhill roll, and then, you know, once we got to Comicsgate, it feels like you know, things just they spiraled insanely. And yeah, I mean, when we look at the Zach case, also, I mean, when we look at companies behind that, companies need to understand too that, you know, if you capitulate to the demands of these folks, you're going to, I mean, what are you losing to? These people have no money. Like that guy there, for example, that's one of the guys telling you about social media activism and on. That guy has no money. I mean, shit, look at him. He's not buying your wares. So, you know, is that what you think? Yeah, I mean, I'm tired of these SJWs, weirdos that are out there that we know are not part of our hobbies. They are not part of it. And if companies want that, then they can have it. We're waking up more and more and pulling away from these companies, doing our own thing. And I'm glad that a Dynamite, you know, they stood up and they said, no, you know, this guy over here, he makes us money. We're capitalists. We're going to make money.
Be about, right? It should just be about money. You know, it's not about, hey, I agree, I disagree. It shouldn't be about any of that. It should really be about money, and that's clearly what's coming their way. Back, I'm going to put your thing up here. Lit List Umbrella. We got to talk about this and what it's like. All right, so Tug has a comic book. First of all, Tug, where did the idea come from to do a children's comic book?
Yeah, well, I wanted to knowledge, you know, when I grew up, I was 3 when I got my first comic. My granddad, very, very stoic individual, veteran, World War II. He, you know, I would never have picked him as someone that liked comics, but we were at a store one time. Maybe he wanted me to shut up because I was little, who knows? But he was like, here's this for you. And he gave me a GI Combat, you know, and that, I don't know, it set off an addiction. I would go back to that store anytime I was there, you know, he would actually pick them up. So it was something he and I, a guy that had very few words on anything, he and I could actually correlate on. And that's, I mean, that was, when I look back, that was a great time. I look at the pages of comic books and, you know, it's not just the print and the images, but, you know, that guy there, he's etched on those pages too. So I want other people to be able to experience. First of all, we need a buy-in for kids, but also we need to be able to sit down and enjoy. Everybody should be able to enjoy a comic book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely true. So this is a good idea. It's a Comicsgate kind of scary book, spooky book for kids. The Case of the Littlest Umbrella absolutely smoked all expectations. I got to say, I was like, yeah, I think you'll get to 50. I think you'll get to 50,000, you know, because you're really popular. Whoops, $78,485. Congratulations. And it's still going. It's now an in-demand store. So those who didn't get a chance to back The Case of the Littlest Umbrella while the campaign was live, you can still do so. I just put the link in the description. Let's get Tug up to 80,000 today. I think that'd be really cool. And by the way, in comparison, the denizens of where are they at right now in Texas? What's the Comicapalooza? Do you see the photos from Con-Con?
Yeah, you mean the ghost town?
Yeah.
Someone should dress like a tumbleweed and just roll through there. That would be awesome.
I mean, it's so sad. It's just like the comic book industry it's moved on. You know, it's like the industry has changed. The old methods of doing things, of meeting fans, of selling product, they're just not the same anymore. And so these people who go to these comic conventions, it's a humiliating experience for them. It's humiliating. I mean, you know, Max Visaggio sitting there complaining about how nobody's coming to her table. Yeah, it's not Twitter, is it? It's the real world. The real world is not Twitter necessarily. You get all kinds of attention on social media, but when you're actually sitting there and people have an opportunity to meet you, it's a little bit different. Most people are staying home from comic book conventions these days, and there's no money to be had there. So SJWs are currently ruling over Comicpalooza and Emerald City Comic Con, and there's just tumbleweeds.
It's because they forgot their audience. I mean, if you forget your audience, if you go out and you insult a significant portion of your audience. The whole, I hate the white male. Well, unfortunately, that is a large demographic there. They've always been there. You can have anybody read comics. There's not a buy-in for identity. There's not a buy-in for anything, but it's not just that demographic that hates that too. Other people see it and they say, screw this. I'm not going to back this garbage. And you may get likes on Twitter, but you're not going to, you see it in the sales. Visaggio, look at the sales there, backed by some of the biggest names, biggest companies, can't sell 3,000 books normally. I mean, that is
sad. That is sad. I think this is the thing. I think we're showing them the way, and this is how comics have to evolve, but they're just not ready for this yet. Norwegian Kryptonian, thanks for 22 NOK, says, check out the lyrics for You Never Walk Alone. Oh, I will. I wonder if they're sinister. Hey, John Malin's here. Hi, John.
What's up, John?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Hey, Ethan.
Good. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. I was like, well, I either come on here or I go give my mom a card. And I'm like, coming on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, this is sending a card to her. This is a tribute to your mom.
Yeah.
I'm
She'll
taking
appreciate
Andrea.
it somehow.
I'm taking Andrea out to look at furniture today for Mother's Day. I said, what do you want to do? We'll do something fun. You want dinner? She's like, let's go furniture shopping. Oh, okay. Let's do that. Jay Taylor says, Matt Loader is full of humbug. The one saving grace is he apparently now has AIDS. But that's not nice.
Play some Elton John music behind him or something.
Oh, the apology may be longer lasting than his eternal debt. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think, having the apology on video, people do not like the apology. They're calling him a scumbag. As I scroll through the chat, he is a scumbag. There is no doubt about it. I think anybody who did what he did is a scumbag, quote unquote. You can quote me on that, quote unquote. Yeah. So in any case here, this is what it's all about. John, these people who are at Comicpalooza right now, are you hearing about it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you hearing?
No, what's going on?
So you lied. You didn't hear about it.
No, I said, what's going on?
Oh, well, it is an SJW breeding ground of SJWism right now.
Is that where Jeremy got assaulted?
No, he got assaulted at Gen Con in Indiana. Comicpalooza is in Houston. I want you to think about Houston right now and think about how, like, basically all the worst people, all the worst SJWs are there, right? That's where they live. So I will tell you this. I think I went to Comicpalooza once and never again. What happened there was ridiculous. I was there with Bernie Wrightson and Bernie Wrightson's wife. This was 2010. Oh, wow. And now normally I used to do, in 2010, I was doing a convention like 3 weekends out of every month. I was making a living off of conventions, which you can no longer do. You go to conventions, you work, you draw sketches, you come home with about $3,000. And, that's really all you need to pay your bills. So do a couple of pages, go back to another convention. Don't get a lot of work done, not a lot of published work, but you're able to pay your bills. And a lot of comic book artists find themselves on this train, which is rapidly kind of diminishing. That's not a very good analogy for a train. Let's see. A lot of people find themselves on this ice flow that is rapidly melting. Okay, there you go. That's better.
Yeah.
Conventions just aren't working anymore. They're not the same. Anyway, so here's how you get treated. You get invited, or at least I did. Not everybody does, but when you're a DC Marvel pro, you get invited to these conventions. They pay your way. So they've paid $2,000 for my hotel room. They've paid for my flight to and from. They paid for transportation. Sometimes they pay for meals. It's a pretty good gig. And then everything that you make at the convention is all profit. Now, what this means is there's a certain expectation. They have plans for you. They know where you're supposed to be, what they want you to do. You go to a convention and you say, hi, I'm Ethan Van Sciver. And they say, okay, well, it's cool. Nice to see you, Mr. Van Sciver. You're sitting over here, blah, blah, blah. If you need anything, let us know. So I go to Comicpalooza and I'm there with Bernie Wrightson. I walk up to the table, which is guest reception, and there's some crazy blue-haired girl behind the table. I'll never forget this. I go, "Hey, I'm Ethan Van Sciver." She says, "And that means what to me?"
Oh, snap.
And I go, "I'm a guest of the show." I was like, "Is that what you say to guests of the show? You talk to people like that?" She said, "Look, I'm just helping the dude out, okay? I'm just helping the dude out that runs the show. So I don't know who the fuck you are, but I sat and Bernie Wrightson was next to me. He said she acted the same way towards us."
Whoa.
And I was like,
and I don't, for anyone that doesn't know, Bernie Wrightson's a legend.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, God, there should be like a different strata of legend for him.
right. So I mean, it's like, it's not just you. She did the same thing to us. And I go, I said, "Ma'am, where is the guy that runs the show?" She's like, "He's late right now." I said, "So what is going on here? I'm a guest of the show. Where are we sitting? What do you need from, you're supposed to be?" She's like, "Look, like I said, I'm just helping the dude. Okay. I'm just helping him." And I said, "You're not helping him. You're yelling at the guests and you're being rude. The guy who ran the show, the guy that you're doing a favor for, presumably your friend, you're being rude to his guests. You're being rude to me. You're being rude to the Wrightsons." And I said, "Now, where are we?" She goes, and she said this to me. It was really weird. She said, "I used to know where you were sitting. It was on a book and a table that was sitting right here, but the table collapsed." I was absolutely stunned. So I said, "Okay, listen." I said, "Get all of the people, like people in the yellow shirts here who are running the show. Can I see them, please?" And they got like 8 people that were wearing like staff, like volunteers. I said, "Guys, there are no tables set up here for the guests for an artist alley. There's nothing here. She is not helping. We need to set this convention up so that the Wrightsons can sit down, I can sit down, and Umberto Ramos can sit down, all these other guests." And they said, "Yes, sir," to me. And they started to set up Artist Alley. They got all these card tables set up for us. And I sat down, and it was the weirdest thing. And Bernie Wrightson's wife was like, "What a bitch." I was like, I've never in all my life, in all my time, I'm not a prima donna. I've never seen anything like that. I've never been like, when I come to a convention, they go, "Hey, I'm Ethan Van Sciver." I've never had someone say, "And that means what to me?" Like, I've never had someone be that outright rude before, like ever.
Yeah.
So in any case, after the
well, it's not intended to mean much other than introduction.
yeah, exactly. Like,
right?
You basically just say, "Oh, hey, okay," and your guest.
Yeah, nice to
And
meet
there are
you.
any number of ways that you can respond to that if you are not, a part of the show, who, et cetera, et cetera. In any case, she responded the wrong way. We got the con set up. 2 days later, I'd completely forgotten about this whole incident. She comes up to me crying, and she goes, I brought you some water, and I want to apologize. The guy who is running the show fired me." And I said, "I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what to say to you. Like, what can I say?" Apparently other people had complained too.
And who are you?
Yeah, who are you again? So a year later, the story had gotten around, okay, that what had actually happened was this woman tried to give me water, and I threw it at her and made her cry.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
well, now I'm weighing these versions out. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, like what actually did?
No, I don't see that at all.
Yeah. Well, that is the truth of the matter. I mean, a convention employee came around and said, "Would you like some water?" I said, "Yeah, as long as I can throw it at you as hard as I can." And then she started to cry. So I went, "What is going on in Houston? What is going on with this convention?" And I tried to explain what happened, but I realized that these people, like, this was back in 2011. Now 2010, 2000, proto SJWs. It's not about the truth. It's about spreading a story. It's about hey, this guy, he's a Republican. and we're going to try to. And you know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm not sure that it's true, but I've been thinking about it. I wish I could go back and look. I think the person who was spreading that water story was Timmy Doyle.
Really?
Yeah. I would
That'd
love
be
to
really
do-
interesting.
Yeah. Like way back in 2000.
Were you aware of him way back then?
No, I saw him. I saw this person telling the story. I said, that's not what happened at all. This is what happened. And stop lying to people. It was 2007, 11. I was still kind of idealistic. I didn't realize what SJWs were. I was like, why is this dude lying? So I don't know that it was him, but I think it was. I'd love to go back and find out. El Berzidente, thanks for 10 euros. Story time with EVS and his adventures is always best. Yeah, it's creepy. The comic book industry is creepy. Absolutely creepy. Like you just go, what? Like, why is everybody crazy? Why is everybody nuts? Now, fortunately, most.
So is that what? Is that the story of what's on now then with Comic Palooza? Is this old incident coming out as like a water throwing incident?
No, it disappeared until.
Or
I
are we
brought it
just
up again
talking
just
Comic
now.
Palooza?
Yeah, we're talking about Comic Palooza.
Oh, but Comic.
But I think it's an SJW infested and run show. I think so. Just because of that incident and because you look at their guest list and you go, oh boy. Oh boy. So yeah, it's just odd. So that's what's going on right now. And they're complaining about how the fact that like nobody is there, like the convention is absolutely empty. Here's what it is, in my opinion. Conventions are over. They're dead. They're dead. And so many things killed them. Death by 1,000 cuts. One of the first things that kill comic book conventions is the death of Wizard Magazine.
Oh yeah.
You know, what do you think of this, John?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Wizard Magazine was an important thing. Wizard Magazine, this is the comic book industry killing itself constantly. You watch it happen and you just shake your head. Wizard Magazine was this beautiful, glossy magazine written by kind of young nerds in the early 1990s, right when the image boom started to happen. And it was a beautiful magazine. It was available at grocery stores. You could find it everywhere. Like Wizard Magazine was everywhere. It came polybagged with like a little trading card in it or a poster. It was always something. There were art lessons in there. There was a price guide in the back. There were top 10 lists. Who was the hottest writer? Who was the hottest artist? And lots of big glossy articles that glorified comic book professionals and made them into celebrities. You know, the reason why Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti were celebrities back in the 1990s was because of Wizard Magazine. Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, J. Scott Campbell, Stephen Platt. These guys' careers all started, really took off because of the power of the Shamus brothers and that magazine. But what happened was that top 10 list. Go ahead, John.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, yeah, Wizard was, is your monthly injection of wolf milk for the comic book fan. It got everyone excited. I mean, that was the go-to for every comic fan. That was definitely my time, my era. So that's where you found out what was going on in people's lives and little disputes that may have been going on. But yeah, they had the Brutes and Babes by I think it was Bart Sears, and yeah, it was a great magazine. You had to grab that magazine. Yeah.
So K Brady says
you needed it.
Absolutely. K Brady says Graveyard Shift Book 2 or we riot. So they're looking forward to Graveyard Shift 2. Me too. Yeah,
some June,
cool. Yeah, you needed Wizard. Okay, you needed Wizard. Now, what happened was the comic book industry began to eat itself, which is what it always does. It always does the worst thing for itself. It's like a scorpion that can't stop stinging its own back. Like it is a ridiculous industry. They didn't see Wizard Magazine for what it was, which was this just missionary of the comic book industry, selling comics as cool to 13-year-olds because the magazine was made for young kids. It was made for teenagers. And teenagers loved it. So that's what Wizard did. They made celebrities out of these comic book professionals. Like, hey, I saw your picture in Wizard. I read about you. They made you look cool. you're on the top 10 list. I want to come to a convention and meet you and get your autograph. Instead, what happened was the comic book industry said, A, the magazine's juvenile and stupid. What are you, a dummy for reading Wizard magazine? You're stupid. You're Wizard dumb. You want to read something like the Comics Journal that only sells like an eighth of what Wizard does and doesn't have its circulation. Comics Journal is a real magazine. Wizard's garbage. It's for stupid people. There was that. And then the other thing was certain individuals high placed within the comic book industry all decided to try to bribe Wizard magazine and to coerce Wizard magazine into giving their projects more coverage than they deserved, and also put them on the top 10 list. I remember Jeff Loeb saying, basically you just throw a dart at a dartboard, right? To choose who's number one writer in any given month. How much to get the dart thrown my way? Okay, so that kind of thing happened all the time, and basically it became, who is making the decisions for who gets to be the number one writer, number one artist? How do you get on the top 10 list? How do you do this? And all this quarreling, all this squabbling, and basically Wizard eventually, like, people just kind of walked away from it. Wizard just kind of imploded and collapsed, and because Wizard imploded and collapsed. And there were other reasons too. I think the Seamus brothers might have gotten a little bit corrupt, might have started to accept a little payola. I don't know about that. I've heard rumors. I don't know if they're true, allegedly. But in any case, the magazine folded. And when the magazine folded, that was the end of comic book conventions, because now you go to a comic book convention, and the only way that you know the people who are in Artist Alley is because they're the ones who called you a Nazi on Twitter. You don't know what they look like. They have little cartoon avatars that make them look prettier than they are. Little soy boy avatars of them holding their pets up over one half of their mouth, like I keep saying. These people are nobody except for people who have been rude to you on social media. That's who comic book professionals are. No longer do they have the glossy double page, like, rock star spreads of like Jimmy Palmiotti crouched down with like two devil horn signs with his like hands, and Joe Quesada standing above him looking up at the sky, and it's a nice fish angle, fish lens view of them, and it looks rock and roll. No more of that. That's gone now. What we have left now is we have garbage social media with garbage people and their garbage opinions driving fans away. Wizard was a filter. Wizard magazine was a filter. It actually just presented the very best of these people to the fans and made them look cool and made comics look fun. When Wizard died, the comic book industry essentially began to die too. The comic book industry died, and conventions most certainly died, because no longer were comic book professionals a draw. Nobody cares anymore who shows up at a comic book convention. I mean, the very top 1%, Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, they'll get a line. Everyone else is sitting in Artist Alley like a monkey in the zoo, behind a cage, just hoping somebody will come by and feed them a peanut. That is the case. That is exactly what goes on at comic book conventions now. And it's because we cannot stop hurting ourselves. This industry cannot stop hurting itself and destroying the things that are actually good and exciting and productive and prosperous. Comicsgate being one of those things right now. Nowadays, a convention is completely run. They don't talk about John Malin being there. They talk about, hey, John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard is going to be there, and that's why people are buying tickets.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that too. A lot of what you're saying about how they took what used to be cool in Wizard, and then they tried to force what wasn't necessarily cool onto people. And I see that too with companies like Marvel, where they've kind of embraced the indie styles of Vertigo. And I've said this many times, but once you try turning your company into Vertigo, DC's Vertigo, that's what you should expect, is Vertigo sales. You don't want to run away from that big, exciting, splashy art, and that's what the entire industry, for the most part, has done. And right now, thanks to the SJWs, they all see that Vertigo stuff, the very dry airplane manual type artwork. They think of that as like the creme de la creme, instead of like the new Jack Kirby's that should be coming up into this industry and being groomed. Someone like Kanan White, this super talent not being groomed for Marvel years and years ago as he should have been. It's just despicable.
Yeah, it is despicable. It's weird how this industry does this over and over again. So now, this is what you've got now. You SJWs can go to Comic Palooza. They can sit in Artist Alley and stare at each other and take selfies with one another. There's no money there. Does that matter? Does it matter? Are they interested in that? Is it about money anymore? No, it seems to be about something else. I'm not really sure what it's about. It's just about I leave that to people like Comics Matter with your boy Zach, who's in the chat right now. Hey Zach. Dwayne Morris, thanks for $5. No, comic book conventions are not dead. People like me will always go there to meet their movie and TV show celebrities. That is right. And to buy some Pops figurines. Liam Gray says people would mostly go to cons to talk to creators, make new friends in a world where nerds were scarce. Now they're crowded marketing machines. Yawn. James Dean Anderson says, I've been told that J. Scott Campbell and I were both first published with fan art in Wizard number 53. He apparently drew on an envelope and I was in fan art. Oh, nice. How about that? That's kind of a good
that's cool.
A good coincidence. Yeah. A lot of people were turning in like Wizard was exciting. People would Zach wants on or no? Zach usually only wants to be on alone.
Zach is talking about being frustrated and flopping around like a fish in anger. I've never really
Does he want to come on or?
It's interesting now. He's just
He drops the link. He'll either come in or won't. So.
I've never heard that analogy though. Man, I'm so mad. I'm flopping around like a fish.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, he's just listening to. He does want in. Hold on a second. Your boy wants in.
Yes.
Tag me in. He says, yeah. Okay. Sorry, Zach. I was I was freaking out there.
He's always entertaining.
Yeah, everyone loves it when Zach comes in because he's just he's got the same passion about this stuff, and that is that's the thing. But absolutely, this is the problem. We're constantly hurting ourselves as an industry, constantly. And I do not understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why people can't just work towards creating excitement. Join us in creating excitement. Oh, hold on a second. What is my password?
Yeah. YouTube is the closest thing that we can do as creators right now to try and build that excitement of Wizard Magazine again. Get out there, let people know who we are, get them excited about ink lines on paper once again. And people want to see bombastic, fun stuff. And they want to talk to creators that are going to be kind to them and respect their differences.
All right,
and we just don't see that anymore by and large. Mm-hmm.
Zach, I just sent you the link, for goodness sakes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's tough. My computer, my new computer's or my computer setup here is a little bit different. Jedi Knight and friend to Alita says, treat yourself to a DeLorean. Decent ones are $20K. Really? Michael Roth, thanks for $5, says things like Twilight having panels at comic conventions brought an audience that couldn't have picked Stan Lee out of a lineup. So that's what comic book conventions are anymore. If you want proof that comics are kind of on the way out, people do not care anymore about the content of these comics. They're interested in meeting Chris Evans. They're interested in meeting Aquaman, but they're not interested in. They are not interested in the comics anymore, or the comic book professionals. Can you imagine being like, I can't wait to meet like Mags Visaggio?
That's why all these conventions have become, multimedia facet. Because if you just stick to one thing like comics, they would die. That's why you got to have movies, you got to have other things. Just like the comic shops. The only comic shops that we have around here that are successful at all, they have to have some other gimmick. Whether it's magic, they all have pops now. And comics are shrinking. Some of these places they call themselves comic shops, but they have like half a wall of comics, and the rest of the store is something totally different.
Yeah, pops are literally holding comic shops up right now. And can you imagine? Like that's a dangerous thing. Like pops are so clearly a dumb trend.
Beanie Babies, man, it's the Beanie Babies.
Yeah, the Beanie Babies all over again. By the way, I brought up Chris Evans, and everybody's saying, "Oh no, not Chris Evans." Not Chris Evans. Chris Evans. Here's a good question. Why are Marvel fans upset with Brie Larson but not Chris Evans? What do you think of that question? Both are obnoxious about their opinions on social media. Why is it? This guy's a good answer. He says, well, there are some key differences. Chris Evans is not as politically outspoken as Brie Larson has been. Not even close. He has obviously made some comments about Trump and such. He's Captain Un-American. But that's about it. Brie Larson, on the other hand, has used her newfound platform to express her views on sexism in Hollywood. She is but one of many celebrities under the impression that their political beliefs are a big deal. I wouldn't say big deal. I would say interesting. She's under the impression that her political beliefs are interesting, and they are not interesting. And he says, don't misunderstand me. Some of her comments were just plain obnoxious. Claiming Wrinkle in Time was only panned because white men were reviewing it is ludicrous. In general, she fails to realize that white men are perfectly capable of reviewing ethnic movies. Yeah, you got to hear my review of Menace to Society. I'm like, that shit is dope. That's my review. The basic building blocks of good movies, acting, plot writing, etc., are important in all movies, and a person's skin color doesn't define their critiquing skill. But back to Brie Larson and Chris Evans. One reason I personally consider Larson's comments more annoying is her attitude to her MCU role in general. It feels like she's simply exploiting it for a few soapbox moments. This is heavy right here. I love this. He's absolutely he's right on to what SJWs do right here. Says, I don't see that in Chris Evans. He keeps his comments almost entirely unrelated to the MCU. He doesn't use his role in the MCU as the way to talk about his opinions on Donald Trump. I appreciate that. I wish Brie Larson would do the same. Keep her political beliefs separate from her acting roles. Yes, yes, yes. But this is entirely what SJWs do. They pretend they're fake geeks. They pretend to be into something so that they're able to use it as a way, as a soapbox, to espouse their stupid politics. That's what's happened to comics. That's what's happened to Star Wars. That's what's happened to Magic the Gathering, Game of Thrones, just about everything right now. And with that, hello, you boy, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Zach.
Good
So,
to see you.
Yeah, so I woke up and you guys were talking about Wizard Magazine and I was freaking out and wasn't able to get on forever. So I was very, very excited. And then once I get in, you're talking about Good Housekeeping or some article in Good Housekeeping.
No,
I missed the window, the 5-minute window talking about Wizard.
no, we'll go right back to Wizard. It wasn't Good Housekeeping. That was completely and totally related to SJWs destroying everything that they infiltrate, pretending to be interested in something in order to get into it and destroy it, which is what they've done to comics. But let's go back to Wizard Magazine, because you are of the same age range as me. You were probably finding comics and enthusing about comics right before Wizard Magazine showed up. And Wizard Magazine was a propellant to sell comics to masses and masses of young people, to get them excited about them. And we are those people. I mean, that's the thing. Like, our age group, you want to know why comics mostly appeal to, like, it seems like late 30s, 40-year-old, 50-year-old men? Because we were around. We were right there. We were the demographic for Wizard when it first came out.
So, yeah. So one thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, and I was wishing I could jump in, was that it was actually a couple things that did Wizard in, and mainly it was, sales went down after the speculation boom, but they tried to turn themselves into Entertainment Weekly. And when they did that, everything collapsed. If you look at those last 2 years of Wizard, it's just a little shorter version of Entertainment Weekly.
No, but they were flailing at that point. That wasn't why they died. That was them dying. That's what I'll disagree with you about. Let me brag for a minute. FP Sunny says, EVS, did you get in the top 10?
Oh yeah. You were in there for like years.
Yeah, I was number one a couple of times as a number one artist. I still am.
I don't see the lie yet.
That is the chat's funny. This is the thing. All right, look, Wizard Magazine was definitely the key. I mean, you want to talk about how to create excitement, how to create buzz in comics. this is the way to do it. Comics do not sell themselves. I don't know how, I don't understand how this needs to be made clear, or how to get this across to SJWs or the comic book industry at large right now. Comics do not sell themselves. People actually do have to sell them. But I will tell you this, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I can sell a copy of Cyberfrog when it comes out to absolutely anyone. To absolutely anyone. I can sell a comic book to anyone. I can sell one single comic book to absolutely anyone. Anyone would give one a shot. They're fun. They look cool. For the most part, it's like you can go out there and say, look at this fun, cool story. These people love superhero movies, Zach. They love superhero movies. They love the MCU, and they won't buy any comic books. Some effort has to be expended. These superhero movies have enormous marketing budgets. They get out there and they let you know that these movies are coming, that they exist. They generate excitement. Wizard Magazine used to be a one magazine marketing bonanza. It used to be a franchise. It used to build franchises. But there's something poisonous. There's something that wants to die about the comic book industry.
There really is, and I've been drifting in and out of consciousness for like 4 days on NyQuil, and I just woke up to a picture of someone sending me a screenshot of Mags. And it's Mags at Houston Comic Palooza, and it's a Mags eye view showing off that the convention is dead. So you're seeing an empty, the little aisle. You're seeing some sad people on the other side and empty booths. But this is what's most important. You're seeing Mags's books in the foreground, and none of them are selling. And I just had this thought: Mags is on the verge of realizing what it's like to be a retailer in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Mags can't sell Mags books. Mags is now a store owner, effectively, symbolically.
Mags also complained about having to promote. You were talking about, Ethan was talking about having to promote your own products. Well, Mags was saying, what other industry expects you to go out and promote your own products after you create them? Hey, welcome to the world you wanted. If you're not going to create any buzz around your stuff, why would anybody be excited about it?
What other industry hires someone who sells 1,100 copies? There's a new Mags book announced every 3 or 4 weeks now. I try not to talk about her because they say people hire her just to spite me, but you're hiring her to spite owners, of comic book stores. It's freaking insane. But Wizard,
by the way, just as an aside, Zach, I wouldn't say you were a narcissist, but if you were, how would that affect your narcissism to know that these companies are all making terrible, terrible business decisions specifically to spite you?
I mean, it's just weird and sad. Like you were saying, I forget how you phrased it earlier, but you're like, comics is an industry that wakes up every day and plans how to better destroy itself. Like,
yeah,
I'm the classic Wizard consumer fan, the one who bought it and read it. That was like, I would read that thing to death every month, and I bought all the comics. And there's a thing in firearms where it's called max trajectory. It's where your sights are aimed at your target, but the bullet leaves and it actually goes up, and then it goes down, and you kind of adjust your sights according to that. And Wizard was like the max trajectory. It hit heights that you didn't even aim at because you're actually aiming for something more moderate. But Wizard was just there. It was like your friend. It was getting you excited, but it was also excited. You would hear, kind of rumors of, payola, where it's like, well, they created the excitement. Did you ever think that those freaking nerds in that Jersey office, which I'm pretty sure smelled really bad, do you think they weren't excited about Ash by Joe Quesada? I think they legitimately were.
They were.
They loved it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ash was cool.
I went to that office, by the way, and was it in Jersey? Was it in Secaucus? I can't remember if it was in Jersey or New York. But I went there, and it was like a warehouse. The front of the building was just cubicles. where these kids just sat there. They had Mego toys everywhere, and then the back office was an entire like warehouse, like a production facility for those Mego doll comic strips. What were they called that eventually became?
Oh yeah, Toy Fair, Twisted
Toy Fair. Yeah, they had like this Twisted Toy Fair like photo shoot area that was pretty funny. Those kids were excited. They weren't getting paid anything. None of them were being paid to be there. They had some really, really, really good talent. I remember there was a kid named Chris Ward, who used to write for Wizard for a little while. He quit because he was just getting paid garbage. So funny. This was right around like 19 or maybe 2005 that he was writing for them, and the magazine was sharper and funnier than ever. It's just so sad. And if you could go back in time and just read the articles, just read the social media, read what people were saying about how Wizard needs to die, how we need to kill Wizard. Wizard is garbage. We need to get rid of Wizard. These agents, these enemy agents, have been in comics for as long as I've been reading them. Just finding what makes the comic book industry prosperous and then trying to destroy that thing. And they're still there now. They're still there now, and they're just baffled by the empty conventions. Who wants to meet any of you? Who wants to meet any of you people for any reason other than to call you names for making them miserable on social media? Who would want to meet these people? Who wants to meet Mark Waid? Who wants to meet Mags Visaggio? Who wants to meet any of these social justice warriors and get their books signed by them?
You were talking about excitement, though. The people at Wizard, it wouldn't even matter if they were or weren't excited. They sold the idea that they were excited. That's very effective marketing. Nowadays, like, tell me a comic book from the mainstream that people actually feel excited about. I'm so checked out of that. I never thought I would get to the point where I would say, after decades, like, I don't care what a Marvel does anymore. You can just keep it. A DC, keep it. And
yeah.
It's sad.
I was excited about Walking Dead. I'm even off of Walking Dead now. They went social. They went SJW, The Walking Dead. I was like, no.
I've got this buddy who's rich, and he literally has a comic book museum. It looks like something from a movie set. It's like wood paneling, this nice, upholstered chair, beautiful wood shelves. And he goes, I'm thinking about just selling that and making it a workout room. And I'm like, you already have a workout room. Yeah. So this is a guy who has like basically unlimited disposable income. He doesn't even want it. He goes, he used to do DCBS, which is like, you don't want to go to a store, so it just comes to you a couple days later. He goes, is there anything out there to get excited about? I go, in stores? No. And it's going to sound like the most kiss-ass thing in the world, but the things I'm looking forward to are Graveyard Shift 2, Cyber Frog, Rainbow Brute. These are the books I'm actually excited about. Like, Graveyard Shift looked better than everything I've seen in the last year in the stores. Like, what is a store? I mean, obviously for me, a store is a chance to get kicked out of a place, and then people brag about it on Twitter. But for the average person, a store is a place you drive across town. And I talk to people. I go, did I miss anything this week? And they go, no. There's no. It's a 10-minute drive, and it's not even worth a 10-minute drive.
Snarkticon DM, thanks for $20. Sadly, the majority of comic talent, both current and unfortunately classic as well, are so toxic that it's too hard to like their work and be able to separate that from their hateful attitudes aimed at you to want to deal. Well, that's correct. I think that's a fan perspective that has to be considered.
One of the biggest tragedies to me is this. Are you aware of this book, The Wrong Earth?
Yes, yeah, Jamal Igle and
Tom Pyre.
That's the important part. Yeah.
Tom Pyre and Jamal Igle. I mean, obviously, I think all of us have had run-ins with Jamal. His art is better than it's ever been. And The Wrong Earth is one of the best books I've read in the last 10 years. And he stopped it to go draw White, written by Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
There's no logical business reasons to do that besides he knows Kwanzaa bothers us, and he thinks it's funny. And he's like, I'm going to take a 6-month break. And I'm like, you know, me and John Malin, we just did a second printing of Jawbreakers Lost Souls. It was just a second printing. There was nothing new. And that outsold both in numbers of backers and dollars white. Just a second printing of our book. Like, it's crazy. Even the people. So my thing is, like, I know Jamal Eagles is like, here's me with this person. Ha ha ha. It's like, here's me with your fans. You know what I mean? The people who would have bought The Wrong Earth 2 and The Wrong Earth 3.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't take a picture with the 1,500 people, but it's more than sold for yours. And it's freaking crazy. It's like all these people are doing is we're elevating people who never. Mags just got announced for a series for Valiant. It's insane. Like, and Jamal Eagles at an empty convention center, and he has this awesome franchise, The Wrong Earth, with Tom Pyre. They should have rolled straight into The Wrong Earth 2 or whatever the second storyline was.
Tom Pyre is so good, man. I don't understand what happened to Tom Pyre. He disappeared, but I wanted to work with him all the time. I got to work with him once in 2000.
He's been good for 30 years. He's come close. He's always been. I mean, when the industry was big, he was doing solid, but he's like, The Wrong Earth is so freaking good. Do you know what The Wrong Earth is?
No, I don't. I'm not going to read it.
Okay, so imagine Adam West Batman, and then imagine Christian Bale Batman.
Yeah,
and imagine they switch worlds.
Oh, nice.
Right.
It's freaking the most fun comic, and and it had other disasters where they have this Hoy Comics. It's like the 5th company right now trying to launch an entire company and world and universe, and we got 5 books. Freaking who was it? Lion Forge. They hired Gail. Remember last year, or was it? Yeah, last year at San Diego Comic Con.
Yes.
We hired Gail Simone, and she's like, I super love these comics I've never heard of. And then she promotes them, and it's like these lazy. And the book came out, and it sold 497 copies.
Yeah, I know. Lion Forge is an interesting thing right now. I don't know. I've never heard of any of their comics except through your channel. And they just merged with Oni and fired everyone. And I've got all these people right now that are complaining and saying, you know, look, I did all this stuff for diversity. And DC Comics should snatch me up because I've done things for diversity in comics, not Zach diversity in comics, diversity, literal diversity in comics.
They don't even say it in like a way like a normal human would say. It's like, hey, I increased the amount of African American and Hispanic American. They have to say it like they're like Maya Angelou. They're like, I elevated brown voices.
And I
like, who talks like that?
Elevated them. Well, I mean, the obviously the company wasn't doing well, but I mean, this is what it's about now. It is about all of these crazy political activists being worming their way into comics, and yeah, that is their calling card. Hey, I invited more of us in. I
did a video 2 days ago. And I said, hey, man, if you got fired, you got laid off, I got work for you.
Why?
Nobody from either one of those companies contacted me. 0. Yeah. And that video had like 15,000 views.
Snarkticon DM, another $10. Hey, thank you. Says, the whole reason I went to C2E2 this year was to meet Ralph Macchio, Billy Zabka, and the rest of Animaniacs. Literally, and the cast of Animaniacs. Literally no comic stuff got me personally hyped. Yeah, there isn't anything out there except for comics. I'm telling you right now, Comicsgate is the buzz. We are everything in comics. We're just everything in comics. We're what all of the other people are talking about, even if it's disparagingly. You're talking about us.
It's nothing. My insiders tell me it's nonstop. And one of the other things, again, about this second printing is, since I didn't have, anything new, there wasn't a new cover. I was like, I'm not going to push it that hard because, I'll push when I have like new stuff, and I'll really slam that really hard. And it did great. Like people like these characters. They like John Malin's art. They like Kelsey Shannon's art. They like your cover. They like the Jawbreakers themselves. They're excited. There's nothing out there. Like nobody excited about the Oni Lion King merger or whatever the hell it is, dude. The books sell 497. All you're doing is Lion Forge is the guy who owns it. His dad is like a tech billionaire. They're trying to buy their way into Hollywood. Everyone's trying to buy their way into Hollywood, but the people in Hollywood are not rich. Kate Leth is in Hollywood. She's not rich. I think that Noelle Stevenson, she might be making Comicsgate money. And that's with She-Ra in season 2 being a big hit. Like the Hollywood movie money is not big.
No,
it's not big compared to Comicsgate money.
Well, you know what? This is just a tiny point, but I will say that most of these people who are creating comics for Hollywood, you know, they're kind of like Cully Hamner, and he had a comic book with Warren Ellis called Red. And I mean, it's a very specific kind of one-way road that's going to lead to a movie, perhaps. And then what? I think I would much rather be Doug TenNapel with Bigfoot Bill, where it's just limitless amounts of things. These guys are just writing shorts. They're writing Twilight Zone episodes. They're writing episodes of. They're writing cop shows. This stuff isn't really going to go anywhere. It's just, if it does become a movie, you're going to receive your check for $100,000, and that's going to be it. And then you're going to have to do it again, and good luck doing it again. Not everyone is Mark Miller. Richard Wetfuss says, "Happy Mother's Day, guys." Blacklist Universe says, "Don't forget the first crossover, Comicsgate crossover at LoneStarComic.com." Yeah, that's going to happen. Jawbreakers, by the way. Fantastic, doing really, really well. This is where we're looking, where we're sitting right now, $56,164. I just put the link in the description.
It's closed.
Oh God! Why did you do that? You're just done?
because it's going to the printer next week.
Oh yeah, but you can print more of them. And all right, I'm not going to argue with you about it. You do your own thing. So in any case, Jawbreakers did very, very well. 56,000. Something that's still going right now is have you seen this, Zach? That Umbrella Guys, Case of the Littlest Umbrella.
Oh, I thought he was taking it down.
No, it's going to stay in demand. I think he's just sold a few more copies here. I think it should stay in demand and just let people know. Overprint it. And then, while it's at the printers, just let people keep buying it.
Back and forth with that. I don't know, man. I'm never, people do not really recognize exactly how crazy these people are until you do something and they point all of their insanity towards you. I think when, I've watched from afar, seeing the stuff like EBS or, Zach has gone through, and man, this shit is absolutely crazy.
Well, you're going through it right now, Umbrella Guy. Like you, we've been enduring this for 2 years now. You're just starting to see it because it's coming your way, and it really is life changing. It does change your perspective about everything.
It definitely does. I think the high point again when I contact a lawyer, and because he's been involved in the anime stuff, I contact him and I'm like, hey, what can we do about making sure that if CPS is weaponized, that's not something you want. Like if that's weaponized, what can we do? So having a guy contact something like Child Protective Services and basically make sure that we're not giving something, that's comparable to swatting. It's the same damn thing. Let's weaponize and let's send this to cause you problems. Yeah, that really is a wake up call for how crazy people are.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I was in New York City a week or so ago, and I was visiting Diana, and she wanted, we used to do reviews whenever I'd visit her, and she asked to, and I said, we can't do that anymore. And it was because of what I saw happen with your daughter. Like, it was just beyond disgusting. There's no limits to these people. They'll do anything.
We have to have 30 moderators in there. I let her tell a story online. I always, it's something that we've done in live streams all the time. She loves to tell stories. How do you tell a 5-year-old? You can't do that anymore. So we have to have so many moderators to make sure, because these people, since we launched a project from day one, they have come in. We never had a problem before that, ever. I used to make jokes about moderation. Like, I do not want to moderate streams. I hate that idea. And when I'm doing something, I don't really care, as long as it can't get my channel taken down, I don't really care. So there's very lax moderation. But these folks, they find something that they think can harm, whether that's, deplatforming your friends, going after your friends' children, or going after your children. And I mean, that's been a real, like I said, wake up call to see them try to disrupt a 15-minute segment where I bring my daughter on and let her tell stories, from a 5-year-old perspective. I mean, come on. That's so ridiculous.
It's gross. It's grotesque. These people are monsters. Steps in Gold says, pleased to say I'm regularly back to drawing again, thanks to Comicsgaters. Now to think of a good story. Or to find a writer. Yeah, find a writer to work.
I do want to say on this, though, I'm not focusing on that stuff. I bring it up just I feel like we document, a lot of this craziness to show people, well, what you're walking away from, what you're walking toward. But, after it took me about 2 weeks to adjust to that idea. And then afterwards, it does make sense, though, because you see the pictures from certain pros. They do not get backing. And after a while, you become immune to, these shills that, go out and do this on their behalf too, and once you acclimate to that, hey, you take it, you document it, you show people again what they want to walk away from, but you give them a good product. I think that's important.
Yes, indeed. And this is a good product. Good job, man. Look at this great art. I love this. I love the Umbrella guy as a character. Well, with my daughter, we always used an avatar for her, because we can't show her face. Obviously, you can see why. Well, when we did that, I was talking to Kyung Lee and told him I want to be able to include something where she will love comic books the way that I love comic books when I was a kid. Well, the best way to do that is to utilize her in some way in a comic book as well. So to utilize her, she can look back at all of this. The other comic book attached to that is like a Comicsgate shout out as well. It's basically got everybody that's been involved for a while. It makes satirical. It takes a satirical jab at some stuff, but it also pays homage to everyone that's been involved. Well, with that, I want when my daughter becomes, 30 or whatnot, when she gets older, she can look at it and say, hey, all that time we were doing this stuff, maybe dad and his friends were absolutely crazy, but they tried to do something important, and they cared about this stuff. And I think that's important to leave his legacy as well. Yeah. And I think what we're doing is important. I mean, it's not important in the grand scheme of things. Are comics important? I mean, Zach says comics matter. Why do comics matter, Zach?
Oh yeah, we're important as long as we have an audience. If we're doing this for 497 people consistently, no, we're not important. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing. I always thought Jawbreakers was going to be for people who have read the original script, it was all just one story. It was almost like a Watchmen for dummies, basically. Like Watchmen if you can't handle philosophical arguments. But now I see the way people talk about it and the characters and how important characters become to people's lives, and you see how Marvel and DC used to do that, and now DC has flushed the fourth world down the toilet. Although somebody was saying that they're now saying that Female Furies is not in continuity. I think it's retroactively not in continuity because it's so awful. But it was definitely presented as it's in continuity.
Yeah. But Yakose says, damn it, I just got paid. I wanted Jawbreakers. Oh, sorry. Zach closed it down again. Maybe you want to support the case of the littlest umbrella, though. I think you should. I think you should get on board with this. Cyberfrog is still going. Cyberfrog's doing great. I think we're going to hit 200,000, hopefully. That'd be nice. The links are all in the description if you want to do that. Let me read some super chats, and I'm going to take Andrea out, and we are going to go look for new furniture. Zach, our stuff looks too small in this house. It looks crazy. And she's just like, I only want nice things now. A Man in Lunacy says, if you want to check out a new ongoing Comicsgate project, take a look at Sasquatch Samurai, the story of a lycanthropic Bigfoot who was fighting a crazy Northwestern cult, live on Indiegogo. I saw that. That actually looks good, and people are talking about it. People are talking about.
You sure that's not Shinobi Sasquatch?
Sasquatch Samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, is it wrong?
Shinobi
It's
Sasquatch.
So, yeah, because I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that book is.
He's promoting a book. He got the title wrong, but I think that's a fan. That isn't.
Okay. I was like,
let me just double check and make sure I got all of these. Let's see. Oh, Hector Lopez says Comicsgate convention when? Yeah, I mean, eventually. Here's the thing. And the point of what I wanted to say about conventions is that we've replaced them. This is the way to interact with fans. You don't get to see us face to face, but we don't give you hugs. And maybe that's a good thing. Hug.
Yeah, these days it seems like it. I don't know. We've been making a little bit of light of all of that stupidity. I'm going to go to Anime Matsuri because we were invited as journalists, as press coverage. So I'm gonna take a shirt there. It's gonna say I survived a tug hug or something like that. Because I mean it is absurd though. It's absurd what a professional could actually encounter. 10 years after the fact. Oh my God, you hugged somebody you took a picture with them. Oh my God, let's destroy.
I think I will accept hugs if we ever do conventions, but never return them. Like I'll stand there like just rigid. And if you want to hug,
Keanu Reeves is kind of famous for that. There's all these pictures of him with this gang of like 4 girls, and they're all giggling, and he always makes sure his hands are visible in the picture.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
it kind of looks like he's giving them a benediction, but he's literally just trying not to get sued.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But we could do a Comicsgate convention eventually. I would do one a year. It wouldn't be for profit, even though
I don't think we can ever do one.
You don't
Our
think so?
enemies are so maniacal. They are insane, evil people. They would, oh my gosh. Has anyone really done a convention at all? I know Mike Miller had one canceled out from under him and then uncanceled, but he didn't go.
I did. The last convention I did was November
Grand Rapids
2017, and there was a buzz. First of all, my lines were insane. I've never seen anything like it. This was just the early days of Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and the lines were absolutely crazy. But there was a buzz going around that he's controversial. That's Ethan Van Sciver. He's controversial. And I kept hearing that all around me. And Gail Simone was there, and she looked at me and then went meh, and turned and kept walking away. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, that's the last convention I did. I did make good money there. I think I was one of the only ones who did, because I'm extremely popular, and more so now than ever, especially since these people cannot stop talking about me. But I wouldn't do that every weekend. And not only that, it's a matter of time before somebody tried to hurt me in one way or another, I don't know.
Yeah.
Max LaForte, thanks for $1. James, thanks for $2. He says Marvel writer is better than artist. Stance is killing comics. Okay, yeah. So Marvel's giving preferential treatment to writers and not necessarily artists.
Oh my God. Did you notice that Marvel 1000 thing?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
So they started, first of all, I do not know what their marketing. Do you remember when they started announcing the teams and it was this really cheap, like early 1990s desktop publishing sort of, it's like Mark Waid and so, and you're like, so they start announcing all these teams and everyone assumes, oh man, Marvel's really turning it around. They're bringing back top talent. They're paying that extra. And it was all just for an anthology where every team gets one page.
Oh, that sounds like a.
It was so pathetic because I was like, oh, they're finally they're gonna have a big win this fall, and then they're gonna be like, oh, those comic skaters, man, and then nothing, absolutely nothing.
By the way, here's the Marvel.
Well, the kicker about the whole thing,
John.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say the kicker about the whole thing is that CB Sobalski was hyping two announcements for this week. Like there were like daily tweets like, okay, this big stuff's coming down the chute. The first announcement was that Marvel got, I think, 50% of the market share. You know, they leave out the dwindling market, but it's 50%. And it only managed to get, he has 60,000 followers. He only got 100 retweets as of today. And on the Marvel 1000, he got 124 retweets. Like, nobody even cares. Like, the editor-in-chief can't even motivate 60,000 people to get up and celebrate.
Well, it's so disingenuous the way that they're doing that too. The the only company that's not cutting back on quantity is Marvel. They're still flooding the market. You know, DC, I mean, if we look back to February, DC, they cut from like the previous year 80 something books to 50 something. You have Image that's cutting back, but Marvel, they're still trying to grab that money from those shops, you know, milk that last dime out of something that's pretty much dying. So yeah, congratulations there.
This cover depresses the hell out of me. The more I look at it, the more depressing it is. Marvel Comics 1000, number 1000. First of all, it just looks miserable. Like, is this Alex Ross, or is this like, I think this is fake Alex Ross. This cannot be the real Alex Ross.
Yeah, that can't be Ross.
John, look at this thumb right here. You want to talk about people making fun of that one thumb that you did in Jawbreakers? This is fucked up right here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is that's growing out of the side of his hand there. That is odd. Oh, by the way, the lingerie ads are appreciated. I don't know why those come up. It's not because of anything I started, everyone. So, but let's look at this. Look, first of all,
Wolf Milk.
Yeah, Wolf Milk, definitely. First of all, where are the Fantastic Four in this? What is it with Marvel Comics having completely disgraced the Fantastic Four and separated themselves from them? The Fantastic Four are Marvel Comics. They're the foundation of Marvel Comics. You know, yeah, you can go back. Obviously, the hands here are holding. You can see the Human Torch here. This is they're looking through Marvel Comics #1, which starred the Human Torch. This is not a Fantastic Four book. So where are the Fantastic Four represented here on this chart? You've got Captain America standing here. This famous I think Joe Simon drawing. You've got the Hulk. You've got Thanos. You've got this weird Dave Cockrum Wolverine X-Men redo. That takes up a lot of space. There are a lot of X-Men here. You got Spider-Man here from Amazing Fantasy. These are all important. Iron Man, Daredevil, whose fucking face. Is that his face? What is this? This is a Joe Quesada Daredevil drawing with his foot really big in the.
Oh yeah.
What? You've got Captain Marvel here looking bleak. What is Ms. Marvel doing standing here looking like she doesn't know what she's doing? What is Kamala Khan do? What is this supposed to convey to me? This is basically saying, look, we started out, look how exciting, action-packed, action. Here's where we are right now. Big fat ass squirrel girl. This is all of the horrible stuff right in this corner here. And then this right here that Marvel Comics is doing right now. This is what we used to be. This is where we are right now. Spider-Man ripoffs. Kamala Khan, one of the worst characters ever created. Squirrel Girl, ridiculous. Captain Marvel, disgusting. It's just a depressing. Everything about it depresses me. Who thought?
Sounds like someone has a problem with women.
Everything about this just makes me physically ill.
Yeah, but even the logo, the logo, the number 1000, like none of this stuff is laid out very well for going onto this cover. There should have been some more planning going on. If this is Alex Ross, I would have said, hey, Alex, try to work the number 1000 into your illustration and let us work our logo around that.
This looks horrible.
And instead, you had this really just crappy, it's garbage.
Look at this. I mean, it's like Captain Marvel gets to stand in front of the logo, kind of, except the 1000. But Daredevil doesn't. Like, he's buried behind all this. It's just the whole thing. The colors, it just makes me ill. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me ill.
This is looking to me like it was done in a collage, and then he was told to do a paint over.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because he could do better composition than this in his sleep.
Yeah, but this is not. Alex Ross would not make this anatomical mistake with this hand here. I know that this doesn't look like a big.
That might be a late add-in.
Yeah.
They're trying to show that people actually want Marvel Comics. Can you show people trying to grab it from someone who has it?
They all want they all want this comic book because it's worth $1 million. They don't want this. This is worth 10 cents.
Look at the arrogant grandstanding of Captain Marvel.
Ugh.
And me too.
Right in the center, oh God, it's just awful. It's just so depressing and bad. My God. So this is, I think, what CB Sobolski was saying. He actually tweeted out. He said, it's been 5 years since Marvel sold 1 million copies of a comic. That was Star Wars #1. Let's do it again. It's time to do it again. This is what they're expecting is going to sell 1 million copies, I guess. I don't see that happening.
Holy cow! I didn't even think about that.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's his big master plan. This, maybe with 20 or 30 variant covers on it. What trash!
Garbage, man. All right, so Argentico,
fire them all.
You have to fire everybody and start over again. You have to, but they're not going to because they're doing this because they hate me and Zach.
Edwin.
That's what this is all about. Welcome, Edwin.
Hey, good morning. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, my friend. Argentico 2003 says big sacrifice for almost 50-year-old to boycott babies. Boycott. Oh, that's probably talking about Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano's Mother's Day is to boycott sex. That's nice.
Nope, still getting late.
Yeah. Camo Black says, your boy, please review Age of Conan Bullet. It is god awful.
Oh God, it is. It is bad.
Liam Gray says magazines are dying, but Wizard came with half issues and mini comics. Could we make Wizard in demand again by making collectible content for it? No, we would just do our own thing. Like Wizard is dead. They killed it. This is the thing. You don't take damaged, broken properties and try to rebuild them.
What we're doing right now and YouTube, that's the new Wizard. That's the new convention.
This is it. Wizard would be smart to actually have a YouTube channel that was active. I think that'd be the best thing for them.
Lots of people they try. I mean, they even have like a good start, and then I think Scott Snyder gave like a half-assed try, and he did actually okay, but they all kind of flame out because they're under such. I mean, we always talk about we got stalkers, but Scott Snyder's got worse stalkers than us because all those people will turn on him at the drop of a hat if he ever says like, "Hey, I also agree. I don't like." All they can say is they like things.
Mm-hmm.
When you go, I'm going to do a YouTube, but I can only say I like things. Yeah, it's not very interesting. Oh, Scott Snyder's got a channel. Oh, yeah. Like he just says he likes everything. Everyone's great. Okay, that's boring.
Richard Webfist says bigger house means more room for Ticos. Snarkticon DM says there's no justice when story time with drag queens is allowed, but Lug's Tales is verboten. Yakuse says, I guess I'll give my money to someone else, referring to Zach taking his, Indiegogo now. Snarkticon DM says Zach should reopen Jawbreakers. He was clearly loopy on cough medicine when he shut it down. Carson Depp, thanks for $10, says, EVS, please check out the story of Sturmers, an extended family of Jews who spent over 500 days literally underground in caves hiding from Nazis and Ukrainian police. It'd make a great graphic novel. The Sturmers. Check out the story of the Sturmers. Because I was talking about how much I was interested in World War II yesterday. Wonder Girl, wow, thank you for $100. Says this will go towards that new $30,000 sofa. Welcome to the 1%. Well, high five, but I am not spending $30,000 on a sofa. That ain't happening.
Yeah, 27,000. Come on.
No, I have a sofa. I was so proud of myself. I bought. My mom lusted after Ethan Allen furniture. That's why my name is Ethan. Actually, she loved Ethan Allen, and she wanted an Ethan Allen sofa her whole life. Never got one. And when we got a sofa for this new house, I went to Ethan Allen and bought a sectional, and it was about $5,000. And I was like, I am a big spender. I have a $5,000 Ethan Allen sofa. It's too small for the house now. It's too small. So I'm not spending more than that. I will buy a cheaper, bigger. I want one of those big like marshmallow sectionals that you just sink into. It's like I don't know. It might not be as elegant, but it's comfy, and I want to be comfortable when I'm watching, Clone Wars. Canalis, thanks for €3. Also, check out Necromancer Tombstone Blues on Indiegogo. Narwhal Book says, Happy Mom Day. We were birthed from Caesar's loins. Earthbound is in demand on Indiegogo. Fulfilling now. Congratulations, Narwhal. Snarkticon DM says, Gale waddled away like the penguin. Sean Campbell says, I invite everyone to take a look at Ferryman #2 on Indiegogo, a cyberpunk Comicsgate book where the angry dead have escaped a virtual afterlife. Hector Lopez says, Anime Matsuri and Kamala, Kamaha, how do you pronounce that? Kamea-con are proof that you can stand up to these psychos and still hold a successful con. Don't fear these people, fear the beard.
Can I change the two of your minds about conventions? Not whether or not you like them, but whether or not we can successfully do them.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So about 5 months ago, is it 5 months ago? Maybe it was 4 months ago. I went to a convention. I made a polo shirt. It said, I stand with Vic, and it said Comicsgate, #Comicsgate. Big as all get out, right on the front. I ran around this amazing Aloha comic convention talking to everybody. I was the loudest person in there. Live streaming, every single person was laughing, smiling, was happy to talk about their stuff. I didn't get not a single mean look. Nobody tried to come up and tell me what was what. I even went and talked some junk to Jim Starlin. I think most comic conventions are a lot of normies. I think all the tough guys are on Twitter. I don't think a lot of this actually carries over. Yes, people are pointing out in the chat that somebody tried to swat me. But that had nothing to do with the people that were in the conventions. They were all there just to have a good time and, get a picture with somebody or get some comic book art. But I think in the conventions themselves, I don't think these couple of weirdos in Twitter and in these Facebook groups, I don't think they have any real power. And none of these people are going to show up like some kind of gang, and have some kind of dance fight at a convention. It's just not going to happen.
Well, all right. Well, let's take that apart. Zach, do you have comments on that?
Yeah, I never really thought anything physical was going to happen. I think even with the Jeremy Hannibal situation, that was kind of drunk guys fighting in the street, which is pretty common. But especially the mania for me and Ethan, there are people who will spend, weeks, all day for weeks, emailing every single thing. And they'll be, because like I said, I did this video the other day. There's 12 psychos who sit on Twitter causing trouble all day long. It varies from every 6 months. It'll have a little changeover. But those people are supported by people all the way up to corporate boards of publicly traded companies in the comic book industry. So it's going to be one of those things where they're going to successfully make it not worth the time and effort and money. And also, just there isn't a good fun live stream. We'll get what 3,000, 4,000. Geez, if you get a Ricada on, it'll get like 10,000. He's doing like 6,000 at 2 a.m. So this is it. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure the Ottumwa, Iowa Convention Center is amazing, but I think this is probably a lot more fun.
I believe that. But just don't give these people too much power.
No. Edwin, that's. I don't think my point is let's not go because the SJWs are there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying SJWs have ruined it. I would go if there was money in it. I would go if I were guaranteed to meet a large percentage of my fans or a large number of my fans every time. But people just don't go to conventions anymore. The fans aren't going. It's too expensive. They're just not motivated to go. The comics that are out there right now are not exciting people. And for me, there's no reason there's no financial incentive anymore. So why would I go? The other incentive is to meet and speak to my fans. And right now we're speaking to 1,500 people right now. And if I wanted to, if I had artwork to sell or something like that, I could sell it to, auction it to the fans. There's no reason. There's just no reason to go to conventions anymore. It's an old, outdated model. Just like the direct market is an old, outdated model, and we've got to build something new if we want to keep comic books alive. That's what this is. That's what live streams are. That's what Comicsgate is doing. I think we're building the new model. The fans are all here, and it's free to be here. None of these people have to pay $25. None of these people have to travel. They don't have to do anything. If they want to talk to me, they're talking to me right now, and I'm reading their chats. They can send me super chats if they want to support the channel, support me. It's perfect. This is the future. So when you see Max Visaggio taking pictures of empty comic book conventions, those embarrassing pictures of Jamal Igle and Richard Pace sitting there alone at their booths, banging on their phones, it's humiliating. I don't want to go and be embarrassed like that. I would
have one thing with this safety thing. There is a safety concern. It's like this. I'll go to a convention because I'm not going to have a bunch of jackasses intimidate me. However, I will not bring my kid to a convention because somebody may hurt them. So there is a very real threat still there. These people, you cannot underestimate them. We've made mistakes underestimating these people before. We think rationally. And rational people don't SWAT people. Rational people don't walk up and commit a premeditated assault on somebody. That is not rational. We have to be careful about that. Now, again, I just won't be intimidated by a bunch of jackasses, like I say, and I'll do whatever I want. But yeah, I mean,
we could do a convention ourselves.
Yeah,
but
and I think that. I think that if we do, like if I show up at a convention, if there does happen to be violence, I just ask that the person that wants the violence, that we fight in the style of West Side Story with a series of snaps and twirls.
I'm working on it.
The problem with that is that our enemies naturally snap and twirl all the time, so it would be hard to tell. When you're playing shirts versus skins, you want to be able to tell, the other team away from you.
Yeah. Richard Weffis says, "What's up with Marvel touting Marvel's 80th anniversary? It's only the 58th anniversary." Well, the old Marvel Comics was a comic book series. Of course, they were Atlas and Timely before they became Marvel Comics, but Marvel, the characters have been around for 80 years. Snarkticon says, "Marvel 1000 is just 1000 Captain Marvel relaunches, isn't it? They'll never stop. They'll never stop." Jake Foley says, "You should get uBlock Origin free ad blocker." Well, I would, but then you wouldn't be able to see those lingerie ads I just showed you. Black Angus Review says, "Uncle, check out my latest post at Angus Reviews. Subvert identity politics again, LOL." Some nobody says, "But the left claims creativity is their trait, LOL." Yeah, they do say that. Harry Bergeron says, "They'll kill off all non-SJW characters in that 1000 issue to create a buzz that'll sell 1 million copies." How about that? Like, what if they're killing all the characters on that cover that are not SJWs? Thunderbird says, "Comicsgate YouTube channel in the style of Wizard." I kind of feel like that's what we're doing. I didn't realize it until today, but yeah, that's kind of what we're doing already. I go through, we talk about articles, we talk about what's going on in pop culture, and we all sit around and talk about our projects, and it is the best of Wizard. There's some room to grow, and I think that these YouTube channels and all of our content will improve as time goes on. But we're doing exactly what we should be doing. To me, YouTube, comics YouTube is like the early days of radio and television. It is the future. Either you're on board now or you're going to come on board later. But now's the time. Timbertone says, "Speaking about Mother's Day, Amy Schumer named her newborn son after a play on words of genital fissure." Seriously, look it up. Mental illness. Cumberbatch Pepper Pie, hello, my friend, says, "Please do Las Vegas Comicsgate convention." Yeah, well, that's where it would be, believe it. I think all of us would come to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Zach might.
I'll go to Hawaii.
Hawaii would be nice too.
It is absolutely gorgeous, yeah.
Richard Weffis says, "If there's a dance fight at a con, Mike's wife should teach us." Mike's in the chat right now. I think Mike, are you able to come in, or I mean, probably not. I think you kicked yourself out of the chat room once, and I didn't put you back. So ha ha ha. Radwu 17 says, I love your creativity and your passion for comics. Thank you. Inkspot says, shout out to Shinobi Sasquatch and the upcoming Monster MD. Indie comics putting the mainstream comics industry to shame. Jay Alexander says, thanks for the stream. Love from @SwimClubComic. Thanks. Siren Jag says, Khan need to intersperse the comics pros among the other celebrities instead of sticking the comics pros in the back corner. That would help. No, I think most of these people belong in these kind of artist alley ghettos. I do. People are coming. They don't need to trip over the riffraff. They're coming to meet John Cena. You know what I mean? They are not coming to meet these comics pros, and it's their own fault. It's their own fault. What do you think, Zach?
Sorry, I dipped out for a second. Oh, you're talking about the sad artist alley.
Yeah.
Well, one of the funniest things is to peek at the trajectory of their tweets. It's like they're like, just been invited, flight on the way, and then like 3 days later, it's like dead. No one talking to me. It's like, yeah, we could have predicted that. They're inviting people who have no base, who have no actual. They're inviting for woke points and Twitter points, and Papa Normie and Mama Normie and Kid Normie absolutely do not care, and they just walk on by. I just think it's hilarious that these people get to feel what it's like to be a retailer in 2019.
I think that was the best line.
I can't sell this crap.
That was the best line of this whole live stream. Mags is finding out what it's like to be a retailer selling Mags's comics. That was excellent. All right, so I'm gonna go. It's 1:30. I've been live streaming. I told Andrew, I said I'm gonna get up and do a morning show. She's like, how come? I'm like, because I think I need to do that now that I'm in the new house. I kind of made promises that it would just be work, lots of live streams, lots of videos, and that means.
Didn't you say it's a quieter neighborhood though?
It's so quiet. It's so nice. Yeah.
You're probably waking up earlier because it's quiet there.
No, I slept in until not. Well, I was up late, but yeah, it's so quiet, man. You got to come out and visit. You'll be amazed.
Quick question. Are you the undesirable element in your neighborhood now?
No, not at all. I mean, everybody's been so friendly. The guy next door to me everyone calls him a knucklehead because he doesn't get his lawn mowed. I mean, it's like, his lawn looks like a fucking mess. That is a big deal. The only thing that you need to do is keep your home presentable and not make too much noise. And everyone loves you out here. So we're all cool with that. I said the other day, these guys across the street, I don't know who their landscapers are, but they have lights underneath their trees. Like their trees are lit up at night. I'm like, my trees don't do that. I'm going to find out who does that, and I'm going to get lights underneath my trees. I'm going to be that kind of a neighbor. I'll be a good neighbor and take care of this house. All right. Well, I love you all. Thank you for being here. By the way, thank you again, Wonder Girl 60s, for that incredible super chat. Really, really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Happy Mother's Day, moms. Everybody take care of your moms. Don't forget to call your mothers. And take care of your wives and all of the moms in your lives. Make sure that you treat them well today. And for the chat, my guests, Zach, Edwin, Antonio, John Malin, and that umbrella guy, thank you for joining me today. We'll do it again tomorrow, okay?
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks. See you again.